What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 125 for your Tuesday, December 16th. Santa Claus is almost here. Still a week to go, 2025. I'm your host, JD from New York. As always, joined by the one and only, the man who never taps out, Solomon. So what's going on, brother?
Never
With a smile on your face either, I hear.
Oh, no. No, definitely not. Have you been naughty or nice this season, JD? Are you going to get coal in your stocking, or are you going to get that gift that you've been waiting for?
I don't know, man. I've been pretty good the last couple of months, honestly.
For you, you have been.
See? Yeah. I've been quiet. There's no slander online. I've been pretty quiet on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I think
those cassette tapes that you've been playing throughout the day to try to calm you down, the meditation tips, that has been working. It's been working out for you.
Yeah, I don't know how that. I don't know how it's working in conjunction with the coffee I drink during the day, but yeah, it's working out. You know? I don't know, man. A lot of whiskey. You've seen the basement. There's a lot of whiskey downstairs.
I have. Yes.
I could have a nice whiskey drink at the end of the evening to calm me down. But we're gonna get into a lot tonight. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this show. I have listened to Jason's end of things during the week because I have a lot of time to myself here. There's a lot of cleaning. This cat's running amok here, and I put my headphones on and I listen to this guy, and all I hear is that he didn't like what happened on Saturday night. I got people close to me. I hated what happened on Saturday. How could you like it? Well, what is your explanation on why you like it? Why are you laughing that John Cena is no longer wrestling? We're going to explain that tonight. I got a pretty damn good explanation on why I like it, too, and Jason's probably going to look at me side-eyed, but that's what makes this show great. I can't wait. It's going to be good. All right, man, how you doing this week, man? I heard, I don't know, man. Should I mention it? Should I mention the fact that there's no more first baseman for you over there?
I mean, you can mention it. I mean, I'd rather not even get into this whole conversation at all. It'll just put me in a foul mood, but yeah, I'm still waiting for that big move. You know, I keep hearing about Cody, Bellinger. I'm hearing about all these things they want to do.
Well, what do they need now outside of a first baseman? And a closer.
You always need pitching. You power. Yeah, we need everything. I mean, we lost the polar bear, man. I mean, he was, a big part of this team last season. So there's a few holes that need to be filled. And the question is, they'll be filled with people, but are those people going to be, what it takes to get to the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know that the answer is yes to that. It feels like we're just in rebuilding mode all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a shocking move. If my grandma was still around, she'd probably be very upset. She loved Alonso. I don't know.
Well, your grandmother would have every right to be upset about that. There's a lot of people who were very upset about that.
I know. It's is it one of those situations where people just don't want to play for the Mets anymore? He's like, you know what? I had enough. I'm just going to go try my luck somewhere else.
I think, I think what you saw with our closer is that he wants to win now. I mean, that's the only real takeaway from that, unless there were personal issues going on that none of us were aware of. But it's like, hey, you know what? This team just won some championships, and this team probably isn't. So, you know what? If the deal is comparable, which one are you going to go with? And if you're not really married to one coast over the other, then you know what? You're going to go where you feel like you have the best chance of winning a championship. So he made his choice, and good for him.
Which clearly right now is Los Angeles, and I can't stand it. Hopefully we don't get a third year in a row with them winning, but they got a pretty damn good team over there, so I don't blame them. But we are a pretty damn good team as well, and we got a lot to get into tonight. We thank you guys very much for joining us on Tuesday nights. I don't know what the landscape of the news is going to look like within the next couple of weeks, so we'll definitely play it by ear. I know a lot of things are slowing down right now. WWE is taping shows, and their live scheduling is coming to an end for 2025. And I don't know if you saw the spoilers, Jason. I took a gander at the SmackDown spoilers. Luckily, you're at House of Glory on Friday. Me, unfortunately, I may make the decision to not even watch the fucking show after what we saw with those spoilers. So,
well, I mean, this is the last couple of weeks of 2-hour SmackDowns before they move back to 3 hours.
Yes. Hopefully we see a Rula over there and a young OG over there. So hopefully they got to fix.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen with this particular show. We may be live next week. I know that's right before Christmas Eve. But going into the next week, We'll see how slow it is. If there's enough news, obviously we'll be here. If not, Jason and I will talk about maybe taking a week or two off to see what's going on into the new year. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. But I was definitely thinking about that today, prepping for the show. But we got a lot lined up for you. We're going to talk Saturday night's main event. We're going to talk Monday Night Raw. We got some AEW news as well. And obviously the John Cena discussion, what we liked and what we didn't like about the retirement of WWE's GOAT for 23 years, John Cena. So strap in, grab a beverage. It's going to be a good one. Follow us on social media at JD from NY206, at Solid Monster. Everything you need for Jason is down below in the description. Please go and follow him on social media and YouTube. And make sure you guys hit that thumbs up right now. Let's see where we are. We got 1,400 and counting. We got only 268 likes. That is unacceptable. So I'm going to need you guys to hit that thumbs up. And let's try for 1,000. I think that's easily attainable tonight. And super chats are open. And get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show and read through all your messages, comments, concerns, and opinions. So thank you guys very much for that. All right, brother. What do you want to talk about? Guide us. It's been a very controversial week.
Yeah, it has been. I'm trying to think if there was anything prior to Saturday that we didn't already address WWE related that's even worth getting into before we talk about Saturday. I mean, like Friday was basically like a nothing show.
It wasn't nothing.
Although
honestly, I don't even remember what happened on Friday. Honestly.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Well, we had that match with Dragunov and Ciampa.
Oh yeah, that was a great match.
Which was a great match. But yeah, I mean, it just feels like, so we'll start with this actually, because this really wasn't addressed on the show last night, but it ties into the WWE Championship. Did you see the segment at Drew McIntyre's home?
I did. I loved it outside of the corny music that they kind of overdubbed over the entire segment. I wish it was just a little bit more natural, but outside that, I thought it was a great segment.
Yeah, and it's those sorts of things I wish they would do more of, because I just feel like we don't get a lot of that anymore. Whoever's house that was. But
it wasn't Drew McIntyre's house.
No. Well, no, because if you remember, when he came to the front door, the address was visible. I said, there's no fucking way that's his house.
And it looked like one of them resident Orlando areas where they had the tent outside with the pool indoors. And
it looked like, you know what it looked like? It looked like the house they gave away on the first In Your House pay-per-view in 95.
Yes,
it may have been that house for all we know. Did. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed that segment. Drew, in storyline, he has been reinstated. They did not specify when he is getting his championship match with Cody. I've been saying that I figure it would be January 2nd, which is the first SmackDown of the new year. But they still haven't specified if it's there, if it's at the Royal Rumble. So he is going to get another shot at the title. I guess the stipulation that he was asking Nick Aldis for is that no physicality. He can't put his hands on me before the match, or he loses the championship. And so, of course, Cody then beat the shit out of him on his front lawn. I guess maybe from this point forward, it's in effect. So we'll see when the match takes place. Yeah, I think we had this discussion. We already know there's a World Heavyweight Championship match on January 5th, which we'll get into. If there end up being two title matches that week, and you had the choice that, well, we're not changing, if we're going to change anything, we're not changing both belts. Which one is more important? Like, which match, when you look at it, as far as who's challenging for it, who is it more important wins their respective match? And I unequivocally say that Drew McIntyre beating Cody Rhodes is far more important than Braun Breaker beating CM Punk.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, because, I mean, this would be the first Braun Breaker and CM Punk one-on-one match. This would be the third Cody and Drew McIntyre match. And do we really want Drew McIntyre losing and going 0-3 against Cody Rhodes? I think that's
third or
fucking
fourth.
ridiculous.
Is this the third or fourth? Are we sure this is the third one?
I thought it was the third one. I don't know. It may be a fourth. I have no idea.
Let me see.
Chat, you guys are quick with these types of things. I thought it was the third match.
Could be. It could be, but for some reason I was thinking maybe it was number 4.
It might be. You might be thinking that you may be right. I think they had that fucking 5-minute thing on SmackDown where he came out in the suit and wanted to defend the title, but they didn't allow him to because he wasn't in his ring attire, and it went to like a disqualification custodian with the title.
Yeah, but either way, third or fourth, it's irrelevant. The point is they've had a series of matches, and each time Drew McIntyre has been unsuccessful in winning this championship. And so now, to me, if you just run this match back again, I don't see the purpose in doing it unless there is going to be a title change. Otherwise, why would you just go back to the same well and just beat this man again? unless they're just stalling for time. But I don't see how that benefits Drew McIntyre by going in there and being a 3-time loser. So I think it's more important that if anyone's winning a championship, it's him. Especially this talk about Braun Breaker maybe being a favorite, right? like a whiteboard favorite to win the Rumble. He could lose to CM Punk, not even cleanly, and still be fine if they have plans to vault him into one of the WrestleMania main events next year. So I'm looking forward to the match. I mean, they always have good matches, but I just don't see how this benefits Drew if he goes in there and loses again.
Yeah, I don't know even how you book the outcome of that match. Like, does he cheat to win? Does he use cheap tactics?
Yeah, he has to. I mean, they're not going to have him beat Cody clean.
No. I know we watched Saturday night's main event and we saw McIntyre interfere in the Obafemi and Cody Rhodes match. And I know Jason and I were on the same wavelengths with, if Oba gets called up to the main roster, that would be a tremendous first feud for him around WrestleMania season. It could result in a WrestleMania match for both of them. Because right now, the way that I'm looking at things kind of transpire on SmackDown, outside of Cody, it feels like Drew McIntyre has no problem with anybody else but Nick Aldis. And I was even thinking that maybe they bring Nick Aldis out of retirement and that would be his WrestleMania match against Nick Aldis. So maybe Obafemi, I don't want to say he gets called up. Maybe he makes an appearance and maybe he gets back at Drew for ruining the match against him and Cody.
No, I mean, he already got back at Drew by chokeslamming him. So, I mean, but this is the issue with putting the NXT championship back on him. It's like you can't call him up, not full-time, to the main roster until you unload that championship. Now, he was supposed to defend that title against Javon Evans at New Year's Evil. And then Javon Evans said, I want my shot now, which ended up being a bad idea because Ricky Saints got involved and screwed him out of the championship. So now I'm wondering, do they run it back but make it a triple threat on that show? There's an easy way now to unload that championship without beating Oba straight up for it. Just get that belt off of him and get him up to SmackDown no later than the Royal Rumble. Like, I'm looking at it, especially after the performance he had on Saturday. That's what I'm doing. To me, that's the easiest way.
I don't know why they didn't make the decision to put the belt on Javon Evans if they rushed to that match immediately and didn't do it at New Year's Evil.
Because let's say they do this. Let's say they end up doing a 3-way match at New Year's Evil. The belt would go back to Ricky Saints. And then my guess would be that you would have Ricky Saints and Javon taking it all the way to Stand and Deliver, and then they would belt up Javon with the NXT Championship. That's how I would see it playing out.
Using Ricky Saints as a pawn, huh?
Well, I mean, you get... Well, no, first of all, Ricky is a heel. Rick, not that Ricky was a terrible babyface, but he's not a great babyface.
No, he's a better heel. Yeah.
Compared to being a heel. So it's a heel program for him heading into, Mania season, and maybe coming out of Mania, he gets called up, right? Because he doesn't have to spend more time down there than he needs to. So, I mean, I like that idea. And in the meantime, there's no issue with Javon making sporadic appearances on SmackDown or on Raw. He's going to be wrestling next week against Rayo or Pete Dunne. So that match will be happening next week. And in the meantime, set him up for a big NXT championship win. WrestleMania weekend. Why not?
Man, I said last night that Javon Evans Rayo match is the quintessential Raw is taped this week type of match.
Well, it is. Although the idea of doing Javon Evans against Pete Dunne, I mean, that could be a really good match.
Sure.
With the Rayo and the Bravo business, I'm sure there'll be a lot of hijinks and whatnot. But as a match, it's not a terrible match to do. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat there. The belt has to come off Obafemi. What about Tony D? How about Tony D wins the world championship and we get Tony D and Javon Evans?
Could they do it? Sure, because Tony D made his return at the end of what was it, Deadline?
Yeah.
Deadline or the show? It was
Deadline. Yeah.
So he's probably going to be in that mix. To me, though, I would go with Javon and Ricky.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that's just a match and a feud that appeals more to me.
Yeah. We'll see. You can't call everybody up at the same time. So the problem that they're going to run into is, they should absolutely call up Obafemi first, and then Javon Evans maybe gets a look after that, because I do think a run with the NXT Championship could benefit him. At that point, I mean, who do you call? Who do you call up next? Ricky Saints. He's ready for the main roster too.
This is what I've been saying though. Like, I've laid out a whole bunch of different names. It doesn't mean that all of them should be called up at once. Oba should be priority number one. right? And on the women's side, you can call up a couple of women as well. Sol Ruca, there's a reason why she was featured on that show on Saturday and got that win, right? She was handpicked for that spot. But we've talked about Jordan Grace. What the hell is she still doing down there? There is a division on Friday nights now that the show is being boosted back to 3 hours that they're going to have to boost that division. Sol Ruca, Jordan Grace. Those are two names right there. And not the only ones, by the way, that they could call up to SmackDown. But that's two right there. So them and Oba would make three. There's no need to rush Javon. That's why I proposed that idea to put the championship on him and let him get a run in the top spot. They obviously have big plans for him.
Yeah.
So let him get a run on a brand on his own. And there will be plenty of time next year to get him full-time up to one of the shows. You don't need to call everybody up at the same time, but at the same time, you also need to call up more than just one or two people.
And at the same time, on top of that, Shawn Michaels has to be very wary of the fact that he's got a very light men's main event division. So I don't know what he's going to do there, but Ethan, I mean, everybody's ready down there. Ethan Page is ready. Oba's ready.
What did Triple H say on one of those episodes of...
we
Unreal?
won't call anybody up. Or what is
No. It was on, I think it might have been the episode 3, whatever the women's episode was, where he was in the back talking to someone, Bruce, whoever it was. And he's like, man, the women, there's something about for every, 5 women, there's one guy that, was ready to get that call up from NXT. The women just pick it up a lot faster.
Yeah, it's definitely the case for sure. And SmackDown definitely needs more women in that division than they do to bolster the men's side. I will say that because Jade Cargill is fucking drowning over there as women's champion, and the only thing right now she's got,
drowning.
I know.
The whole division is drowning, dude. It is dreadful. It is dreadful to see. It's dreadful on both ends, by the way, because I'm watching Raw last night. We have Stephanie against Raquel for the Women's World Championship. And again, nobody cared about anything until she did the Devil's Kiss. This is becoming a pattern now. Like, nobody seems to give a shit until she wraps her legs around her opponent's neck and starts, pounding away. So, I mean, but the other thing I noticed also last night was with the women's Intercontinental title. And Maxine was trying very hard when she made her comeback to really get the crowd into it. But, dude, during one of the commercial breaks, I'm watching it. And had the announcers not have been talking during this sequence, whatever they were doing, I was looking away at my notes. I would have thought I hit the mute button by accident. That's how quiet it was. Like, nobody cared about that match with her and Ivy Nile.
Well, Hershey, Pennsylvania is largely a dreadful crowd to begin with.
Okay,
on a good night, they're bad.
True, but that was also, they had also taped SmackDown before Raw. So, and I did mention that on my end, to be fair. So, like,
they were through 2 hours of SmackDown before they got to this show last night.
Well, they had to sit through 2.5 hours before they got to Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. So that's part of the problem. But also, Ivy Nile, this was her first match on Raw since July or I think June. Since June.
Yes, I said the same thing.
What do you expect? You know what I mean? But like, it was really on display last night that you had these two women's singles championship matches that nobody seemed to really care about. I mean, they reacted to certain things on the show. It was a problem throughout the night, but man, it was glaring. So I don't want to make it sound like it's just a SmackDown problem. It's worse on SmackDown. But right now, going into this new year, it's a problem on both shows, and it has to be addressed.
Yeah, I don't know. We got a couple weeks, chat, and then SmackDown will be moving back to 3 hours for that first show of the new year. So hopefully they do make some changes before then and bolster that roster, because it is going to be a very, very long and dark winter if they don't. So we are going to go into some minor news and notes here. I guess we'll kind of transition into some light AEW talk, and then we'll kind of round things out with the John Cena and Saturday Night's Main Event fiasco. There is news here about WWE. First ever premium live event in Italy is coming May 2026. This is coming from WrestleVotes and Fightful Select. They have reported that WWE have discussed holding a premium live event in Italy May 2026. The decision to bring a PLE to Italy follows a string of successful international events over the last few years. They have had record-breaking crowds and gate revenues for Clash at the Castle in the United Kingdom, Backlash in France, and Bash in Berlin in Germany. Under the TKO banner, WWE's prioritized securing site fees and government pay for major events. This business model has led to PLEs being hosted in diverse locations ranging from Puerto Rico to Australia. Now, Italy is joining the growing list of nations securing a flagship event. So, May, that would bring backlash more than likely to Italy. And I think this has been a discussion for the last several years. When is WWE going to venture to Italy? You know, the first thing that I thought of, Jason, is when we get to this show, how featured is Julia going to be? And if she's not on this show in a prominent role, I think it's sayonara for Julia over there.
I mean, at this point, it's on them to just prove me wrong here, because I already think, stick a fork in her, she's done. I mean, I have no faith. I have no faith, and I want to be wrong on that, because I think she can be a major player in that division on either show. But yes, she has that background where if she's not on that show, then something is terribly, terribly wrong. And look, Italy for a few years there, I don't remember what time period it was, but there were a number of years where there was like a big WWE boom in Italy. So it's hard to believe that it took this long for them to actually bring a major show there, because they went through that phase. And again, it was many years ago, but like for whatever reason, all of a sudden they were really super big in Italy, like super popular over there. But this is the first major event that they're doing. So if it's anything like that crowd in Lyon for Backlash a couple of years ago, then that's going to be great. And there have been some Backlash crowds, man. I mean, Puerto Rico crowd, the France crowd. So Italy's got some heavy lifting to do if they want to match the energy of those crowds.
They do. I think they will bring it for sure when we get there. Nothing's confirmed right now, but this is being reported by Russell Votes and Fightful Select. I would love if they go back to Puerto Rico. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get back there, but I thought that was one of the better outside, quote unquote, outside of the United States crowds. I thought that was probably their best crowd, and obviously Bad Bunny helped with that. But I'd love for them to go back there. It needs to be a right time and right reason to go, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Bad Bunny was at the CMLL show last week. I don't know if you saw that.
What type of mask was he wearing?
A Mystico mask.
Oh,
well, Mystico is, I mean, he's like a god over there. So, I mean, the reason they did such big business this year, because they sold their millionth ticket at Arena Mexico. Just at Arena Mexico. For the entire year, they sold over 1 million tickets.
Wow.
And which is incredible. And I don't believe any other promotion in the history of the world has ever done that in a single year at one location, at one arena. So I guess he's doing concerts in Mexico City, and they smuggled him in. He was in the front row wearing a Mystico mask, trying to lay low.
Well, how did they know who he was if he's wearing a Mystico mask?
Well, word leaked. I mean, there were seats that were left open in the front row, and a bunch of people got smuggled over, and this stuff leaks. People try to hide their identity, but ultimately someone blabs, and, people find out. But I guess he's doing concerts down there. That was like the only night that he could do it. Because they're running shows 3 times a week at that venue. Like, when I think of my wrestling bucket list, I would love to one day be able to visit Japan. That flight I dread a 15-hour flight like that. But I would love to go to like a show at the Tokyo Dome or one of the smaller venues over there. I just think at Cork and Hall or something. But also like Arena Mexico just feels like that would be a fucking awesome place to see wrestling. Like on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Everyone raves about those Friday night shows, but they do them on, I think, Fridays, Sundays, and Tuesdays. So I think he was at the Tuesday show because he's doing concerts on Friday. He couldn't go to the Friday show, but they're like routinely putting in 15, 16,000 people. And a sizable portion of those people are foreigners, are Americans who come over and watch the shows. So yeah, Bad Bunny is a big wrestling fan.
That's great. It makes me appreciate what he does. I'm not a fan of his music, but the fact that he is such an avid pro wrestling fan that he would take time out of his busy schedule to go watch some pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy in my eyes. Andrade, speaking of luchadors, Andrade, he announces his in-ring return. Andrade has announced he is returning to the ring, and he has, after receiving special permission from WWE. This was during a recent interview with Sportskeeda. Andrade revealed that WWE sent a signed letter to his lawyer allowing him to participate in the WWC show in Puerto Rico on Saturday, December 13th. That was the same day that John Cena was retiring from in-ring competition. He was scheduled to challenge, and I don't know how to pronounce this, Xavant, Zavant?
I believe that's how I would pronounce it. Yeah.
Okay, Zavant for the WWC Universal.
Not Persephone.
No, Persephone, yes.
So for you, that's pretty good. You actually did a pretty good job there.
There you go. For the Universal Championship at the event. Now, the situation surrounding Andrade's absence from the ring has been very complicated. As you guys know, we talked about it for several weeks here. Lengthy non-compete clause. It was, he actually thought that he didn't have one, and then it was 90 days, and then it ended up being a full calendar year for Andrade because WWE said, you want to try and weasel your way out of this one to show up over there on AEW television. Now you're 1 year out. Forget about it. So he says, I want to say thank you to my lawyer because my lawyer now has a letter from WWE because we had some problems because I have no compete for 12 months. He then confirmed the breakthrough came just in time for this show in Puerto Rico. Today, my lawyer texted me and told me that, Andrade, I have a signed letter that you can participate tonight in Puerto Rico in the company WWC. However, he clarified that this clearance is specific and does not apply to other promotions at this time. I hope to be back soon to AEW. Andrade says, I don't know when I'll be back. For now, the letter is just for this show in Puerto Rico. So if you guys are wondering why WWE sent a signed letter allowing Andrade to compete in WWC, WWE has a long-standing relationship with this promotion, the World Wrestling Council, and it's owned by WWE Hall of Famer Carlos Colon. So Andrade won the World Championship, or the Universal Championship here, and that was his first match back after some lengthy time away. And apparently the record for the most reigns held in the company is by Carlos Colon himself. 26 reigns totaling 4,000 days as champion. So Andrade...
That's what happens when you run your own promotion, I guess, man.
I guess so, yeah. It's like
4,000 days as champion. That's what happens.
Following him is Ray Gonzalez with 24 reigns and over 2,000 days. And the Colon's son, Carlito, who you guys know as formerly in the Judgment Day and former United States champion, ranks third with 17 reigns and more than 1,300 days as champion. So I'm assuming the relationship with WWE, they gave him a pass on this, Chase, and that's why he was allowed to go over there and maybe win their world championship?
Yeah. I mean, again, he's not going to be out for a year. I don't think either one of us really expected that he would be out, not wrestling anywhere for a full year. So I would expect this to be resolved fairly soon.
Hopefully. He's way too talented to be sitting at home. So the less we talk about it and the more we get him on the ring, on the TV, in the ring, the better. So I'm looking forward to that.
If you ran your own promotion, wouldn't you put the belt on yourself?
I would not, actually. No. I would not. No.
Okay. Well, that's good for the rest of us then. But I was going to say, like, if you had, I could see the temptation. Like, if you were running your own promotion, and this has happened many, many times, obviously, in other promotions and territories over the years, the temptation to want to put that championship on yourself and really, build yourself up as like the key star of the territory, and everybody has to run through you, and you rack up multiple championship reigns. I feel like people say, nah, that wouldn't be me, but like when you get that power, that power corrupts. Goes to your head.
It does. It does. There are some good people out there, and I would not use that power to benefit myself. I would actually take a more low-key role, maybe a creative writer or a booker or a commentator or something along those lines. But world champion, no.
Okay, so you wouldn't do the Vince McMahon thing and book yourself in segments where you make out with all of the the divas or anything like that, right?
No, I would not. No.
Okay, good. 'Cause that would be creepy if you did that.
No, that's not me at all. Though some people think that is me, but no, they are terribly misinformed. So yeah, that was the gist of the news outside WWE. Damian Priest, he's on SmackDown. He's taking a lighter schedule this year, and people are wondering why. He's still embroiled in this feud with Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. We just saw Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest on Friday beat Aleister and Zelina Vega in a mixed tag team match. Not very good, but I joked that the only reason that they paired Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest together is because Damian Priest really can't get over on his own. So they figured, let's use Rhea to help him get back to some babyface reactions, and then all will be right because he's standing next to Rhea Ripley. But, I don't know what happened to him. I guess we kind of know what happened to him. He moved over from Raw to SmackDown. That's what fucking killed him. But,
what he said is he's had some injuries.
Yeah.
And so he's been working hurt, and the company kind of stepped in and said, look, you're your own worst enemy here, and we're going to force you to take time off. So that's been part of what's happened. I can't say that almost sounds like you're excusing, bad booking or other factors. It's part of what has been going on with him this year, where sometimes you'll see him, sometimes you won't, and then this never-ending feud with Aleister Black that just hasn't really, I don't think it's benefited either one of them, quite frankly.
No.
He just hasn't been the same since he got moved over to SmackDown, and part of that is that he didn't have the other, stars to kind of lean on and work off of and play off of, and they developed that chemistry after working together for so long, him and Rhea, him and Balor, and he didn't have that anymore. So they just didn't seem to have a really great plan for him once he came over to SmackDown. He hasn't recaptured that magic he had on Raw. I hope he can. Hopefully he'll heal up and not just keep working hurt until something, really serious happens. But yeah, he says that they kind of stepped in and said, look, we're gonna be very judicious in how often we use you. And so I think I saw some statistic about how last year he worked.
I have it.
Do you
here.
have it?
Yeah.
Just read that, because
100 matches in 2023, 76 matches last year, and only 24 matches this year. That is a huge fucking difference.
Even if you factor in the decline in live events, that's a huge drop off there. So that just goes to show you that they stepped in and said, yeah, you're going to take some time off whether you want to or not.
Yeah, he says his knees are banged up, his back is banged up. So he may be banged. Everybody's banged up, but the fact that there is literally nobody for him to work with on SmackDown because either someone else is hurt or there just isn't anything to go around creatively. So it's like they were very high on him. Why put him in something that's going to fucking kill his momentum? And they ended up killing his momentum anyway because they're not using him. Because they don't know how to use him and there's nothing for him to be used for. So it sucks.
I haven't been a huge fan of a lot of what, has been done with him this year. But it also, look, it's on him to get over. And the crowds just aren't responding in the way that they used to. So it's a combination of both things. And hopefully next year they'll be able to figure something out and he'll be able to work with people and come up with stories that will get people invested, whether that means he stays babyface or maybe he goes back to being a heel. Whatever role is going to be best for him and get him in the ring with the right people. If that's as a heel, then so be it. But that's the key. Get him in the ring with the right people. Yeah,
I think a heel run would be probably something he should think about. I think he's a better heel than he is a babyface. I don't mind him as a babyface, but I think everybody's a better heel. I think that would work out better for him. Plus, I do think that roster, if it does get bolstered, hopefully we do see him a little bit more going into WrestleMania season. AEW stuff. We have some news here on AEW. The Continental Classic is in full swing. If you find it to be somewhat boring, I don't blame you because nothing really substantial has happened outside of some really, really great matches. And the best match in the tournament took place on Wednesday between Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Mike Bailey, which I thought was tremendous. We've had some great matches with Okada. He wrestled Jack Perry, which was a decent match. He wrestled Fletcher in the open of the tournament. That was a very good match. Not better than their match last year, but I thought it was a fine match for the tournament. Moxley and Claudio was decent. And Pac had a great match. Who did Pac wrestle? Pac wrestled, who did he wrestle? He wrestled Kevin Knight, didn't he? No. Mm-hmm. Kevin Knight, yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really good match, too. Kevin Knight's been just very good in general. But right now, the Gold League sits like this. Okada and Kyle Fletcher, along with Speedball, they are all 2-1. So they all have a score of 6. Kevin Knight is 1-2. He's got 3 points. Pac is 1-1. He's got 3 points. And Jack Perry is 0-2. Now, he only wrestled once, but he takes over for Darby Allin, who Darby Allin said he is now medically disqualified from the tournament, and AEW is saving him from himself. So he got hurt in the match with Kevin Knight. I don't know where, But
they're finally after
Yeah.
6 years, they're saving him from himself.
yeah, finally.
It took a regular match with him taking one bad bump after all the stupid shit that he's done for them to save them from himself.
So that's a shame because Darby Allin and Pac were in the same league, and I would assume Darby Allin would get his win back over Pac, who beat him at Full Gear. So that's not going to happen now until the conclusion of this tournament. And if it does happen, at that point, nobody's going to give a shit because it was supposed to happen in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So Jack Perry fills in for Darby Allin. And, I want to see Jurassic Express have a decent sized role in the tag team division. And I want them to kind of maybe try and find their former glory. But with Jack Perry in this tournament, Jason, I can't really see him being anything more than a guy that maybe wins a match and gets a couple of points underneath his belt, but he's basically there to take a loss to everybody else in this tournament, correct? Or no?
Well, I don't know about a loss to everybody in the tournament. I mean, I think whatever was planned before, I mean, he's just basically substituting. And so there'll have to be some adjustments made. But, I mean, look, he had the match with Okada, which, of course, the highlight of which was him biting Okada on the dick when he was upside down in the tombstone position. Which,
yes, this really happened, Chad. If you didn't watch, yes.
Really happened. I'll tell you what, though, for all those years Undertaker went undefeated at WrestleMania, I don't know why nobody thought of that. I mean, that would be one way to get out of the tombstone.
I guess. That's those jungle instincts, huh?
Well, I said he comes down to the ring with a knife, so I mean it could have been worse.
Yeah.
For Okada. So I mean, at least he left the knife on the outside of the ring. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that he's going to lose all of his remaining matches, but he's not winning anything. He's not going to the finals or anything like that. He's just a warm body to take the place of Darby Allin, who I also think wasn't going to the finals, like the league finals and the final. He wasn't going all the way.
No.
So it doesn't really impact anything.
So Jack Perry fills in for Darby Allin, and right now it still looks very likely. Speedball might be a dark horse here, but I think he kind of comes close and then doesn't really advance to World's End. It'll probably be Okada and Fletcher at the end, and the Don Callis family is going to really have a stranglehold on this entire tournament. Over on the Blue League, we got Claudio is 2-1, and he's got a tie. So he's 2-1-1. He has a score of 7. So Takeshita is also 2-0 with one tie. He's got a score of 7 as well. So him and Claudio have the most points in the tournament out of everybody. John Moxley's 1-2. He's got 3 points. Massacre Dorada actually is 1-1. He's got 3 points. And Orange Cassidy 1-1, 3 points. Roderick Strong has 0 points. He's 0-2. So how do you see this playing out, Jason? Because I think we all know Takeshita is going to be there at the end, and I think what we have both talked about, not only here, but on our AEW Dynamite post shows, I think it's probably looking like a Takeshita and Okada final. How do you see the Death Riders thing playing out here? Because when Claudio and John Moxley had their one-on-one match a couple weeks ago, I was hoping that we'd get something there, and we got nothing. It basically went off the air and was very anticlimactic, and there was bloodshed, and the Death Riders were attending to both guys, and almost nothing happened there. We thought something was, but nothing. Where do you see this going now? Is it going to be a case where Claudio outwins Moxley in the tournament and then we maybe get something? Because I think they've kind of exhausted everything that they possibly could in the tournament. Maybe now it's going to happen because Moxley doesn't advance as the leader of the Death Riders and he's eliminated mathematically from the tournament. Well,
I mean, you could do that, but like all the Death Riders have basically taken losses now. So it's like it almost kills it where it's like if Moxley was the loser and the other ones were building momentum, that would make more sense to me. Like, all right, this guy's the weak link here. But they've all lost. Like, Massacre Dorada beat Claudio. And I think Pac lost, right? And Moxley lost, but he's also won some. It's not like he's losing every match. So they're all kind of even right now. And I don't know if you've been seeing any of these backstage vignettes with like Marina Shafir timing them. They're like working out backstage and doing push-ups and they're all talking about, look, this is what we do, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, but you dust yourself off and get back up, and it's like character building. I'm like, wow, we're getting a little bit more in the way of character building with the individual like members now in these types of segments than I think we were even getting before. I don't know. Now I'm very up in the air on where this is going now. I'm not as convinced now as I would have been a few weeks ago that Moxley is going to be booted out of the group, because I think they kind of lost their They lost their reason because now they've lost matches too. So how can they turn around and say, hey, you're a loser? So are you.
You're right.
I mean, that would just make them hypocrites.
You're right. I don't know. I don't know if it's a mixture of John Moxley and Tony Khan. I don't know if it's Tony Khan allowing John Moxley to do what he wants to do as far as the Death Riders, where it ends and how it continues. I don't know.
I don't think they want the Death Riders to end. That's the impression I'm getting. I think they want it to, like, this could be their judgment day where they just kind of keep it going and maybe they add new members and cycle people out over time. But I don't know that they really have this, like, hey, we're going to end this. I don't get the impression they want to.
But there's been no dialogue. There's been no tensions on screen. There's been nothing said from the other members to John Moxley. Yeah. Like, give me something to an extent where I could physically see something maybe happening in the future. But right now, everybody collectively wants it to end. And we're all trying to predict when it's going to end. And I think a lot of people end up feeling the same way that you do. It's just like they don't want to end it. Give me something. They don't give you anything.
Yeah, even if you're not going to end it, you still need to create some kind of interesting drama.
Like, look at the Judgment Day. There's drama in the Judgment Day, whether it's Finn and Dominic and Liv Morgan's back and creating drama. Like, that's what I want to see. It's not good, but it's something.
Yeah, that's what we need. So my hope is that we get that coming out of the tournament because I don't think anything happens at the earliest until this tournament is over. I don't think any of the Death Riders are going to the league finals.
No.
Right? Because right now at World's End, they're doing the 2 league finals and then the Ultimate Final.
Yep.
And I don't see any of the members landing in either of the league finals. So if they are all mathematically bounced before then, do things blow up at that point and we get some other match involving them at World's End? Maybe. It's possible. But it's not really clear to me where they want to go with this.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing this year for the league finals and the actual final. I know last year Tony Khan kind of flip-flopped. He had a semifinal from the Gold League, wrestled a semifinal from the Blue League, and then the finals ended up being what it was last year. I thought that the 2 finalists in the Gold League wrestle each other, and the 2 finals in the Blue League wrestle each other, and then the winners of the Gold and Blue League wrestle each other in the finals. He switched it up last year. I don't know if you remember.
I forgot about that, but I don't think they're doing that this year.
Okay, so he changed the rules again.
We'll see. That was my impression is that they were doing the 2 matches and then ultimately whoever advances, you go and do the 1-on-1 final.
Okay. So Fletcher, Okada as of right now, and then Takeshita, and who do you think?
Who rattle off the names in that league again?
I just X'd it out. Let me see. If I could find it again. Claudio's at the top. He's got 7 points. You said that no Death Riders are going to be in the league finals.
Well,
it's
I'm just saying,
Claudio, Takeshita, Moxley, Massacre, Dorado, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong.
Oh, well, then it's got to be Claudio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to.
Okay.
I mean, I thought maybe they would do that where the Death Riders, none of them end up in the. But I mean, who else would it be? Honestly, it has to be Claudio.
Yeah.
And Claudio and Takeshita, that's a fine match.
Yep.
That's a great match. So I think there you go. Those are your 2 matches. Then, of course, we have the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal stuff.
It's on the list of things to talk about, which I can't stand. I ranted about it with Jesse this week. As far as the Continental Classic, how are you feeling so far with this year's version compared to the first 2 years? Are you feeling the same as compared to the previous 2 years? Are you feeling a little bit more excited about this year's tournament? Or are you like me where it's like, you love a good tournament, but I feel like there's less emphasis on story here than in previous years. I think the first year had the best story. Last year, I thought they took a back seat to the story. They didn't really do much of anything. And then this year, I feel like it's more of the same, just like last year. So how are you feeling about the tournament
Well,
overall?
I mean, this year is underwhelming in terms of that, just because coming into it, I thought there was the greatest story potential.
Yeah.
And there may be coming out of it, but it's not really playing out in the way that I thought it would during the tournament. So that's disappointing. Otherwise, you're getting a bunch of great wrestling matches. I mean, the match with Fletcher and Speedball was fucking great.
Yeah.
But there have been a bunch of great matches. But you're going to get a bunch of great matches in this tournament every year. So that to me is the most disappointing part. I was expecting more of an emphasis on some of the story elements, and I feel like we're not really getting that, or at least not at the level I was hoping for. So I'm kind of like, we're getting some great wrestling matches, and that's fine, but I'm a little underwhelmed and kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with the tournament, though. Everyone uses the excuse that's great wrestling. I'm tired of
That's
using
great.
the
Yeah,
excuse
sure.
of great wrestling for AEW. Usually the matches are very good to great, but a little bit more emphasis on some story. Give me a reason to actually get excited every week. That's the one
Look,
thing that gets me excited.
the only story that matters is Okada and Takeshita. And that really is where this is, hopefully, unless he wants to hold off, blue ball us and hold off on the match a little bit longer and kind of swerves us. Oh my God, everybody thought they were getting Okada and Takeshita, and we're not. It's going to be something else. Then that we already know what the final is going to be, and that's the match that they have been doing a good job of building now over a period of months. You talk about long-term this, long-term that. This has been playing out over a period of months, and we've gotten some fun segments involving them. The tension is building to where you want to see the match. They've done a good job with that, and that really is the number one story, if you think about it, going into this tournament, hopefully coming out of it. So to that end, they've held me with that because I have enjoyed those segments and I want to see that match. None of the other, stories really excite me as far as the tournament goes outside of the Okada Takeshita stuff. It's really all about that. And if we don't get that match in the finals, then that will be very disappointing.
Greatly. I hope that is where we're going, because not only is that, like Jason said, the only story that matters here, it is probably the best match out of the entire tournament period that people are most interested in seeing.
But think about it. Like, how could it not be? How could it be anything else? They don't have another pay-per-view until Revolution, which is March 15th, I think. I mean, if we don't get that first match in the finals of this tournament, like, are they going to just continue to tease tension and drag it out for another 3 months?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked knowing them, but the little story that they do tell, they very much could get away with that if they wanted to do that. Their fan base doesn't care, man. They don't care. Like, all they're looking forward to is the match. They don't give a shit how they get there. So they'll wait and wait because Tony Khan has conditioned them to wait and wait and wait, and they're going to eat it up when it happens.
It's also a risk because if they do it that way, that would mean that Okada is wrestling twice that night, and including a major match against Takeshita, right? And really both matches, whatever they are going to be, probably hard-hitting matches. They're going to get time. And like the following week, he's in the main event of the Tokyo Dome in Tanahashi's final match. So I'm sure they're like crossing their fingers and hoping that everything goes well at World's End, because their main event is on the line there on that pay-per-view.
We'll see. I don't know. Continental Classic usually gets a little bit more vicious as the tournament goes on. So
it's not an easy match.
No, especially with Fletcher and the way he wrestles, and then Takeshita the way he wrestles. I mean, Okada's got his work cut out for him. This may be the biggest and most difficult stretch in his entire AW run so far.
Well, and Takeshita too, because Takeshita is defending the IWGP title on that show.
Yeah.
He's got a big match at the Tokyo Dome too. They have over 50,000 tickets sold, which I think is legitimately the biggest Tokyo Dome crowd since 1998.
Well, I'm not really in on the New Japan discussion, but I did see our guy Ibu saying that he was very depressed after looking at the New Japan card for Wrestle Kingdom. Are you feeling the same way?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, dude, like, you are going to have the eyes of the world on this show. And let's just be honest. The reason that the eyes of the wrestling world are going to be on that show is because Tanahashi is retiring. There's a big deal. And there's, Aaron Wolf is debuting on this show. He's a big deal over there. His first wrestling match, and he's challenging for a championship. That's really the reason why this show is airing on free TV on one of the major networks there. So I'm looking at this card. They released the match order this week, and I'm like, there's so many names missing. And the card overall is like, like the top two matches are really good, but after that, I'm like, you've got all of these like younger talents and talents that should be like part of the new guard. Because Tanahashi, once he's done. Okada, Okada's there, but he's not a New Japan guy anymore. Naito's done with New Japan. They lost a lot of people. They need to get this new, era of talent over. You're going to have this massive audience. Why are you not doing a better job of featuring all these other talents? Like, where are they? How come they're not on this card? Or if they are on the card, they're in these like random meaningless matches. I don't understand the logic behind this card that they put together. Like you got to take advantage of this.
When I look at things like that, I don't know if I'm correct or at least near the ballpark in the way that I think about it, but you got someone like Tanahashi who, will never, ever, ever be replaced there. And it's a career that will never be duplicated. And it's his final match. And I know it's going to be a historic night and a memorable night. And they want that to stand on its own two legs. Do you think that they intentionally book the show as weak as they possibly can to not take away from that moment? Because if they book the show like an all-star fucking show and then something outshines Tanahashi's last match, who's going to be talking about Tanahashi's match when all these other great fucking memorable things happen on the same night? Is that a possibility?
I hope not. I think that's just flawed, stupid logic. If that's what they did, if that's what Gedo did, I don't think that's the case. But nothing is going to outshine what they do in that main event. You got Tanahashi and Okada for the final time ever, and Tanahashi is very limited in what he can do compared to what he was able to do even 5 years ago. But he's still Tanahashi, and he's Okada. So I don't see this as being anything but, at the very least, a very good match, right? So you need to take this opportunity with the eyes on a product that has been cold to get eyeballs on these newer stars and get people excited. Like, okay, this guy's leaving and he's, the biggest name they have. He's just going to be the president now. He's retiring. But we have all this other talent now that's on the rise. And man, look at this guy. This guy had a fucking amazing match. And look at this guy and that guy. That's what they should be doing. And getting people excited to stick with New Japan and not be like, oh, Tanahashi retired? Click. You want to keep those people engaged. You want to keep them watching and coming back. So I think it's a very important show for them. Hopefully it's an incomplete card and they can fix some of that. But like even Zack Sabre, I don't think I saw his name on there. Like, I'm like, where are some of these guys? I just don't understand.
You got 3.5 weeks over there, right? 4 weeks.
There's still time. But look, I mean, maybe there's still time for them, but it looks like the main core of the card is pretty much set. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. January 4th is going to be a big night for them, but what happens on January 5th?
Holden in
I'd be worried about.
Holden in the chat asks, is Tanahashi going to tap out?
With a smile. With a smile on his face.
Guys, man, that's never going to go away, man. It's going to live on in infamy. Fucking every time you see a tap out, are they going to smile?
Well, at least the Tanahashi now has a counter to the tombstone. Should Okada use a tombstone in that match?
He does.
He's watching Jack Perry. He's taking notes, so he knows what to do now.
Other happenings on Dynamite this past week. The Babes of Wrath are the new AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. They beat the Timeless Love Bombs, Timeless Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa in the finals of the tournament. Another tournament that I felt was okay. It wasn't like extravagant or exciting in any way. I thought it was for what it was, decent, and I'm glad, Jason, that they actually put over Willow and Harley. Now, I know you talked about putting the belts on the two veterans and having them run with it and then drop, which is a very sound and logical direction. But I was on the opposite side with maybe an up-and-coming team winning the titles and running with them as the first ever champions. So it's almost like they gave you a mix of that because they put the up-and-coming team, the new team, in the Babes of Wrath against Toni Storm and Mina, put them over Toni Storm and Mina in the finals, put them over Athena and Mercedes in the same tournament. So they really put a lot of effort into building up Willow, who is fucking great, and Harley Cameron, who they are very high on in this tournament, and they really built the whole tournament around them. And it's a decision out of a lot of decisions that this company makes that I don't approve of and don't like. I thought this was a sound decision, and I'm in full agreement that they should have won this match, and they ended up winning this match. I thought this was the right decision.
Yeah, so now we have women's tag team champions, and the question is, what does this division look like going forward? Is there going to be a constant, rotation of, new challengers and competition? Are they going to build this division up in the same way that, honestly, the men's tag team division is as strong right now as it's been in years?
It's taking a back seat lately, though, don't you think?
In the last few weeks, it has. But the talent is there. I mean, they have the teams for it. Yeah. They're just, you just got to do something with them. So are they going to do that with the women's tag teams? Or is this just is it going to be like a WWE situation where it was such a big deal when they were first introduced and the women were in the ring and they're crying, oh my God, we have tag team titles. And then what happened after that? Because there's so many titles in this company as it is. Will the focus be there to, really keep them meaning something coming out of this tournament? That's the only question. I love Willow, and Harley is a lot of fun to watch. I was happy for them. I just wonder where we go from here now with the tag titles.
It's all in the follow-up. Does he have a follow-up? That silly Tony Khan. We'll find out. But I don't know. I just felt like the titles were made just because he's someone who loves his titles. But I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt here. I don't think they have a follow-up at all. And I feel like the belts will either be largely defended on Collision in nothing matches and open challenges, and they won't have a real story coming out of that division, just like every other title in that company. So that's what we're conditioned to think. So you can't fault me for thinking that way. That's exactly what they've done with everything else. Speaking of titles, Jason, you were spot on about this. Mercedes Moné, the current TBS champion, who is no longer the Ring of Honor interim television champion. She lost to Red Velvet at the final pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, she wasn't the interim anymore. She beat Red Velvet. So she was the television champion.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, their first match, Velvet lost.
Yes.
But then this final battle pay-per-view, and Velvet gets her rematch, and wouldn't you know, Mercedes lost. In what apparently was a really good match. I haven't had the chance to see it, but Velvet beat her. And so that first championship has fallen to the wayside. Now, she has since defended the TBS title, and she retained it, as she should have. I mean, she defended it against Layla Gray. Can you imagine, after 500 and some odd days as champion, they just put it on Layla Gray, who has not been on AEW television.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Layla Gray, I think she tore her ACL in that match, too. So she's
in that match, there was a spot in the match where it didn't look like anything at first, but she tore her ACL. She finished the match. So she's going to be gone for a while. So, best wishes to her. That's obviously going to keep her out for a while. But Mercedes now is starting to freak out a little bit because she lost that first title, and the dominoes will now begin to fall bit by bit. And this is going to be her story arc going into 2026. And it all stems from her not being able to win the big one. She can win all these other ones, but the one that really truly matters, she can't do it.
Now, I mentioned this to Jesse on Wednesday, and we had a lengthy discussion about this. At this point, Mercedes is absolutely going to let that fact that she can't win the AEW Women's Championship kind of swallow her, and she's going to get stressed out, and it's going to carry over into her losing these other championships one by one. How long are we going to have to endure this journey? Nobody knows, but it will come to a point where she loses them all. Now, I'm assuming she'll win matches along the way because she is still the current TBS champion, and that'll be the last championship she loses before she goes and finally wins the AEW Women's Championship. But have they, and this was the point I wanted to make on Wednesday to Jesse, I'm going to do the same thing to you, have they exhausted the fan base by giving her 13, 14 championships to a point now where she's got all these championships and they really frustrated the fans, and the fans are questioning why she's doing this, and a lot of people don't like it. They look down on it, and they're wondering why with all these questions. Is it now a situation where when she starts losing these championships, it's going to be too little too late to get people to finally care about her actually losing the championships? How do you feel about her losing the championships now? Is it going to have an effect on the fan base where they don't care?
Well, why is there a question about why is she? I mean, are there people still asking why is she doing this? Like, why is that even a question still after all this? Is it not clear why she's been doing this?
But the question is, are people going to care now she has all these championships and then she starts to lose?
Well,
them?
I mean, look, enough people do care when she defends these titles and at these shows that they're selling all these tickets and they're shining a spotlight on these different women, whoever they may be, whatever promotion, whatever country it may be. So, yeah, for them, it matters, and for them, it's a big deal. And, I mean, I could just tell you as an example, okay, in House of Glory, we had her in to wrestle Nor Phoenix Diana, okay, from the APAC promotion in Malaysia. And she came over here to this country for her first defense of that championship on U.S. soil. and they had a match, and Mercedes beat her and won the championship. And actually, Nora, I noticed she was part of that seminar that Bailey did recently, because there was a picture that Nora took with John Cena when he showed up there.
Nice.
And so that match, we put the full match up on the YouTube channel for House of Glory. Last I checked, that match had something like 160 or 170,000 views, and it was less than a week. That was in less than a week. So that woman has more eyeballs on her now. I mean, I guarantee you all those people, maybe not all of them, but a lot of those people who were watching that match didn't even know her name before that. So you see the impact that it could have, right? Depending on who she's in the ring with. And that's the reason why. Now, as far as, is she going to lose the fans? And when you say the fans, you're talking AEW fans, I assume. Right? Is she going to lose the fans?
AEW fans, the fans that don't really care about the product and have kind of criticized Mercedes running from the beginning here. Everybody.
Sure, some fans. I mean, some fans have already tuned out. Some fans haven't been a fan of this from the moment she started racking up these championships. And that's understandable, because she would win a title, and then what would happen, right? Championship celebration. She would win a title. What would happen? Championship celebration. Nothing would happen. In terms of the creative on AEW television, it gets very boring. So I don't blame people for feeling that way, but you also just can't pretend like, well, why is she doing this? Why is this happening? It's not serving any purpose whatsoever. That's just not demonstrable. It's demonstrably false. It is serving a purpose. For Tony Khan, what he has to look at and ask himself is, okay, in terms of what we're doing here on our show, where is this going? What is the end goal? Do the ends justify the means in getting there? Are people going to care when we get to that point that she drops the TBS title? Because that's the one that she's had for the longest. That really is the one that matters the most. Does he have somebody in mind at the end of all of this, when she finally loses that championship, where it's going to matter? Like, this person right here, it's going to be a big deal that they beat her for that TBS title. And who is that person? Now, I think we've talked about some names, who it could be. Jamie Hayter is going to be in the world title picture, so it wouldn't be her, but you need to have that person in mind, which I hope he does. I don't know when she's going to lose that one. That probably should be the last one that she loses. She may hold on to that title for another 6 months, for all we know. Like, we don't know how long she's going to be. It
could very well happen at All In, for all we know.
Double or Nothing will be 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? 2 years since she won the championship. I think she beat Willow. So maybe it happens there. But just as long as he has someone in mind, and we won't know until it happens, was it worth it? Was it worth the wait? Was it really going to benefit this woman, whoever it is? We'll find out. But that's the question that I would be asking. Like, to me, that's the most important thing.
But Jason,
the TBS title.
She's beating everybody. Like, who is that person going to be? There is nobody.
The one I've recommended. I mean, I put a name out there. I don't know if you would agree. Queen Aminata. Now, Queen Aminata is someone who Tony Khan has been trying to push a little bit more this year. From what I have seen of her, I've been impressed. I mean, the stuff that she and Tekla were doing, like, it really felt like two women who didn't like each other and were beating the crap out of each other. That's when I started to really take notice. Now, unfortunately, she's hurt right now. She's got some kind of neck injury. But if it's not too serious and she could be back, soon enough, she's someone who I think could be built up, and potentially she could be that person. And it's not someone from WWE. It's not somebody from some faraway land that got over somewhere else. Like, you can look at her and say, okay, maybe this is a star that Tony can help create by giving her the rub, by beating Mercedes, and give her a run with the TBS championship. And maybe she drops it to Tekla. I don't know. But that's the name that I put out there. Why not? You want to try to get some people over out of this, right?
You would think. I just don't trust them to do so. Tekla would be at the top of my list for sure.
Okay.
I don't know if I would put my hope and faith in Queen Aminata. I mean, they haven't really done.
I just think you want her to drop it to a babyface, and then if you want it to go from a babyface to a heel, like I said, you could do it that way and have Aminata and then Aminata to Tekla. You could do it that way. That's fine. But whether it's Aminata, whether it's Tekla, it doesn't need to be a Jamie Hayter. It doesn't need to be somebody who's already established. It needs to be someone who will benefit from being the one to take that championship away from her after all this time. That's how I would do it.
I feel like it's going to be somebody that's not with the company.
Like a Dakota Kai or somebody like that?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't see that.
No?
I don't think so.
Well, we got some time before we get there, but that story is certainly taking shape with Mercedes, and I just wish that AEW would do a better job of actually featuring these belts and talking about who she lost these titles to when it happens on television. I hope that they do that, because it's great that a video gets 880 or so thousand views and she's putting a spotlight on these promotions, but they don't really do a good job of mentioning what these promotions are and who these women are on their television show. So I mean, there's more eyes on that show than anything, aren't there?
Yeah, it's nothing. That's not going to change now. She's been walking around on Tony's television with these belts for how many months now? They haven't taken the time to really explain it. They're not going to. What he needs to focus on is the outcome, right? After she loses them, each one, the meltdown, her reaction to it. That needs to be the focus. That's the story. For him, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to go out of his way now after all this time to explain, Rev Pro and what this promotion is and that promotion is. If you're Tony Khan, who gives a shit? It's about the reaction that Mercedes has to losing these championships each time. I agree. There should be vignettes. They should just be following her around in the back. She should just be losing her mind. It's like Okada with the balloons when he lost the IWGP title many years ago. That's what I want to see from Mercedes. I want her to have her balloons moment.
She's going to fucking a bum-ass Corbin meltdown? Or
sure. That's when he was his most entertaining.
I know. We'll see. That's ongoing right now for Mercedes. We had Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship in what I thought was one of the most anticlimactic matches that AEW put on their show all year. I mean, the match itself was whatever. But then the ending happened, and you thought that maybe something would happen there. Someone would come in and interfere. Nothing happened. We got an ending, and then we got a hard out, and then we'll see you next week in wherever they are, Cardiff. I'm like, that's it? So it's like, it just goes to show you that they just booked this match just to get a main event on their themed Winter is Coming show. And the story between Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe really wasn't anything substantial. It was more along the lines of the same thing that they usually do. You're a sellout, Joe. I want the old Joe. This is not the old Joe that I remember. I want the real Joe to show up at Winter is Coming, and then we get 10 minutes, and then goodbye.
And you got him. You wanted the old Joe, and he got him, and he fucking lost like a loser.
The same thing that Adam Page said to Kyle Fletcher. I want you, the young kid without the Don Callis family, show up at All Out and then wrestle me one-on-one.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, he beat Fletcher. But in this case, he wanted the old Samoa Joe. Well, he got Samoa Joe, and he lost. And now it's more about Eddie and Hook. The thing that bothered me was, like, Hook sat down with Renee to explain why he did what he did.
It was Alicia.
Was it Alicia?
It was Alicia.
Oh, it was Alicia. Yeah. Right, on the rooftop. That's right. So he sat down with Alicia to explain himself. Dude, it was 2.5 minutes. You could have easily put that on the television show. I
said the same fucking thing. I'm like, what are you doing?
2.5 minutes. It wasn't like a 5-8 minute thing. Like, Hook's not out there doing a soliloquy. Like, it was a very, down and dirty, quick and easy explanation. Like, why is this on the YouTube channel? They direct you to the YouTube channel. This should be on the show because it tied into the finish of your main event of your pay-per-view.
And then it sounded like shit on top of that, too. You hear the sound? The noise gate was fucking way turned up. I don't know what the fuck was going on there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They were outside. Maybe it was like outside noise, but I know what it's like to be outside on the rooftop freezing. So, but like it was part of the storyline for your championship match on your pay-per-view. I think that's worthy enough of featuring on your television show. But I assume now this just transitions into a match maybe at World's End between Hook and Eddie. I mean, they could do it on TV, but that obviously is what we're going to be getting next.
So what are we getting? World's End Rampage on December 27th? What is that?
Well, we have a triple threat match for the AEW World Championship. It's going to be Samoa Joe defending against the Hangman and Swerve Strickland.
Wow. I didn't think they'd go there with Swerve getting a championship match, but him and Page in the same match, I mean, I can't say no to that, right?
No, I kind of feel like they cancel each other out and Joe's just going to retain.
Yeah.
But and then where MJF fits into all this, I'm actually expecting to see him tomorrow. I think he makes his return tomorrow. I think he's in this battle royal.
That's so fucking awful, bro. I'm sorry.
I mean, the ring stuff is ridiculous, but I think that's how they're going to reintroduce him. I think he's in the battle royal tomorrow would be my guess. and then he will be, wrestling. I guess they're going now. Is it that the final two
will wrestle the next week for the number one contendership for the AW World Championship, which will take place, I think, in the second week of January?
No. So my question was going to be, MJF has the ring. If he's in the Battle Royal, right? Let's just say this. Last two men in the Battle Royal have a match the following week, right? That's what they've said.
Yes.
That's for the ring and the number one contender. Okay. Yes. So it's not a case where, I got it. That's where I was.
Yes, and it will take place on a Maximum Carnage episode around the second week of January.
So here's the ridiculous thing about that. If MJF is in the Battle Royal tomorrow and he moves on to that singles match the following week, right? He has to lose because he's got a guaranteed world championship match already. So why put the ring on him 7 years, 7 years straight and get him a world title match on Dynamite next month when he already has a guaranteed world title match that he has been carrying around with him now for several months? So is this the time that we finally see MJF lose the ring to somebody else? And does the ring in and of itself even mean a goddamn thing?
That's not even the problem. The problem is bringing MJF back in such a meaningless, fucking ridiculous role in a battle royal where he's been out. I don't even remember the last time we saw him. It's been months now. So he's gonna be brought back to television with a contract that gives him an opportunity at a world championship anytime he wants, which they changed the rules on. So not only did you neuter him there, now he's got to come back and ask Tony Khan, I want this match, and it's got to be done a week in advance to bring him back from a meaningless battle royal over a fucking piece of jewelry to come back to television, bro. Don't you think that's the most unceremonious way to bring back maybe your biggest heel? Like, I just find that to be ridiculous.
Well, look, he's had the ring is part of him. The ring is his gimmick. He's won matches, right? Has he won championships with it? He might have. I don't know. But he's won matches with the ring, so he's always going to be part of this ring shit until he finally drops it to somebody. And I suppose he could win and get a title shot, and he still has one in his back pocket. I just think that's what a waste of an opportunity. I mean, what the hell are we doing here? Like, all right, I lost. I still got my world title match.
The fucking ring, man. He's got a contract for the world championship. What the fuck does he care about a ring?
Does the ring have like magical powers or something? At least does it glow? I don't know. I mean, what is the obsession with this ring that he has to gotta keep it on?
Precious, my little hobbits.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just found that to be.
Must have my ring back. My ring. Yes.
Oh my god, I don't know. This is just fucking stupidity, man. I don't know. All right, so if he's in the Battle Royal tomorrow, and he's one of the final two, those two guys wrestle the following week. If he's one of the final two, who does he wrestle?
I don't even know who's in the Battle Royal outside of a handful of names. I mean, we know Shelton Benjamin's in. And
who did he wrestle last year? It was him and Roddy last year, wasn't it?
I don't fucking remember, dude. Like, who cares? Who he wrestled last year for a ring that he retained anyway? Was it Roddy? I don't remember. It's how little I care about the ring nonsense. It's like, we don't even have the full list of names.
No, we won't. We won't.
And we won't. But we know Shelton is in, and have they announced like any like Jet Speed or someone? I don't know. I mean, I know there
was it Adam Cole? Yes, it was Adam Cole.
Ring?
Wasn't Adam Cole? It was Adam Cole. Chat.
You're gonna make me look this up now. You're gonna make me look this up now. Son of a bitch. I'm gonna go. This is the history of the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Okay.
Oh, you got
he
it there
beat
in front of
Hangman for it in 2019. In 2020, he beat Orange Cassidy. In 2021, he beat Dante Martin. 2022, he beat Ricky Starks. That was Winter is Coming. 2023, he beat Juice Robinson. Last year, he beat Adam Cole at World's End.
Oh, my God, man. I don't know. Well, I don't know.
And this show is taking place where this deciding match is happening is at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
We got rings and continental titles and national titles and international. Like, what the fuck are we doing over there, man?
No, so that means they're taping it this weekend because I know the Hammerstein tapings are this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, those shows should be big overseas. I mean, I think they got like over 10,000 people tomorrow night.
tomorrow, yeah, they're going to have a real crowd tomorrow, and the UK crowds are always pretty lively, so it should be fun, for that reason alone, just in terms of the environment and the atmosphere. I mean, that's cool, but yeah.
Oh, they're in Manchester. They're in Manchester tomorrow. I thought Cardiff is the next week, isn't it? Or Cardiff is on Collision.
Yes. Yeah. No. Tomorrow's Manchester.
Okay. Yeah, I thought tomorrow was Cardiff, but
so Shelton Benjamin will be in the Battle Royal. Bobby Lashley will not be, because on Collision, MVP said, and this came out of nowhere, that Bobby Lashley is injured. Now, the last time we saw him was in the Casino Gauntlet at Full Gear. So I don't know. Maybe it happened there. I mean, unless it was some sort of gym training accident, it would have had to have happened there.
If it happened there, he spent half of the fucking match on the outside.
Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe he was hurt. So he got hurt, and apparently it's serious enough that he's going to be gone for a very long time, whatever that means. So that fucks the Hurt Syndicate up completely.
I don't want to cut you off, bro. This ring thing is just absolutely absurd to me. I have to ask a very important question here. The winner of this battle royal gets a #1 contendership for the AEW championship. I guess
I know exactly where you're going with this, and I brought up the same point on my end. I know exactly.
The winner of this battle royal gets an opportunity to wrestle the other finalists for #1 contendership for the AEW championship. And all they have to do is outlast fucking 11, 12 other geeks in a 15-minute battle royal. Meanwhile, you got these guys wrestling hellacious matches for both leagues here in the Continental Classic, and all they get is a shitty Continental Championship. Like, how the fuck does that make any sense?
What are you asking me for? I didn't make the rules. I said from day one when they created this tournament a few years ago that it should be for a shot at the World Championship. You want to have a trophy or something as a prize, that's fine. But the end goal should be, I want a shot, a guaranteed opportunity at the crown jewel of this company, the World Heavyweight Championship. And instead they just created this other title, which you can defend all year long. And then when it comes time for the following year's tournament, it gets held up and you're guaranteed a spot in the tournament. It's like, why? Why is it so easy for people? Dude, this is what happened when Wardlow won, what was that match that he won at Revolution last year?
Oh, it was Meat Madness match?
Meat Madness. And he got himself a world championship match on Dynamite.
Because he wrestled other meaty men. He beat other meaty men on fucking.
And he got a world title. Yeah. He got a world title match for it. And then he was never seen again. But yes, you have this grueling tournament. This is their version of the G1, basically. It's like this grueling round robin tournament, these amazing matches, points are being tallied, all of this stuff. You would think that there would be a crack at the world championship, like that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But evidently you just win a shitty battle royal tomorrow and then just have a regular singles match and boom, you punch your ticket to Maximum Carnage, and you could become the AEW World Champion. That's how it works.
I don't know. I find it to be very weird. I had to bring it up, but yes, that's Dynamite, the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. It's taking place tomorrow in Manchester. We have an AEW Tag Team Championship match between FTR and the Bang Bang Gang. That is Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. And we have a $1 million match for the money.
No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I thought we just had a $1 million match.
Well, the thing is, you don't know. The guys that won the $1 million gave up the $1 million, and now they're fighting for their $1 million again when they don't have to.
Yes. Which is their own fault that they left the money behind.
Yes.
In the first place.
Now they're in possession of the money, and they're putting the money back on the line when they don't actually have to.
And it's the same babyface team, I believe.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. They were on opposite sides last time.
Yes,
so the big difference now is that they're on the same side.
Yes.
So that's the big difference.
Yes,
and they're wrestling Takeshita, Okada, and Hechicero.
Yes. So hopefully we get some storyline progression there with Takeshita and Okada.
There's no progression, dude. We're going to get the same tease of tension between them or somebody costing the other the match. Like, we're at the point now in this story where there's no furthering of tensions. The tensions cannot be furthered anymore other than being in the ring for an actual match. So, yes, that's what we will see, but it's not going to really be any different than what we've been getting over the last few weeks. That's why I made the point before, like, they have to wrestle in the finals of this tournament. Like, you cannot keep doing the same stuff over and over for another 2-3 months. So that's why they have to be in the finals of the Continental Classic.
We got an 8-woman tag team match. Mercedes, Athena, Marina Shafir, and Megan Bain, who I guess they're keeping together as a tag team after the tournament, against the Babes of Wrath and the Timeless Love Bombs. And we got Continental Classic action, Fletcher versus Pac, Mascara Dorada versus Orange Cassidy, and John Moxley versus Roderick Strong. And then we'll get an AEW World Championship contract signing for World's End, Swerve, Hangman, and Samoa Joe. So they stacked the show up. It's 3 hours tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. It's 3 hours.
We may be forced, man, to watch the 3 hours because they loaded the show up.
I mean, if I were Tony Khan and I was doing the smart thing, I would spread the good segments around and not just do them in the first 2 hours.
Yes. He hasn't done that the last couple 3-hour extravaganzas.
No, he keeps Collision as Collision,
yes.
basically.
Which is very weird to me. I don't know what he's thinking.
Weird. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, I don't want to give many ideas here, but like, I don't know why you wouldn't. Like the contract signing for the World Championship match. If you want to see it, you got to wait until the end of the night.
So I'm assuming Mascara Dorada and Orange Cassidy, FTR and the Bang Bang Gang, and the Battle Royal may be taking place on Collision.
See, I would have said the Battle Royal on Dynamite and the women's match on Collision.
Oh, it is the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. So, yes,
That's
it should
right.
take place on Dynamite. Yeah.
You could have the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal on Collision. That doesn't really make...
Well, it's going to be a bunch of jobbers anyway. That's why I put it on fucking Collision.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
And maybe we'll see Moxley and Roderick Strong on Collision. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's a long night tomorrow, guys. I'll let you know what me and Jesse are doing. But the last time we didn't watch all 3 hours and we went live at our normal time, which I think we'll probably do the same thing because we usually go live around 10:30, and by that time the show's almost over anyway. So if anything happens, I'm sure you guys will let us know. But that's tomorrow. Jason did mention that Bobby Lashley is hurt. He's going to be out an extended period of time. MVP said he's going to miss quite a bit of time. Fightful Select provided an update on this. It is legitimate. Specific details are scarce right now, but he is going to be out with no sign of coming back. So we will see what happens with that. So another guy on the injured reserve. I don't know what's going on over there, but...
Yeah, but that ends the Hurt Syndicate for now. I mean, without Lashley, there is no Hurt Syndicate.
No. And they were the most over faction in the company, so I don't know what they're going to do there. Hopefully Shelton continues to wrestle. There's no reason to keep him on ice while Bobby Lashley's out. Let him just continue to do what he's got to do there. All right, man. Let's talk Saturday night's main event here, and we will take it at the top. I have some news surrounding the event. There were rumors before we even got into Saturday night that WWE wanted our president, Donald Trump, to attend the final match. Apparently, there was news that he may show up. There was even news that Vince McMahon may be in the building. But Sean Ross Sapp reported that neither Vince McMahon nor Donald Trump were scheduled to be at the show. They wanted Trump. He was at the Army and Navy football game not far away and could have made it to both things, but the decision was not to come. So no Vince McMahon, no Donald Trump. We did see Vince McMahon, though, in a beautiful video package that they played at the end of the show, where John Cena was basically giving us his own live reactions to the video package, and he got very emotional when he saw Vince McMahon. It looked like he wanted to cry. So we know how Vince McMahon is a father figure to John Cena. So that is the only time we saw him on the actual program. I guess we'll start at the top. Obafemi, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
This was a non-title match. This was the one match I was looking forward to out of everything else on the show because I'm a big fan of Obafemi. I thought this would be a great test for him to see how ready he is for the main roster. And the one thing I really want to call attention to, Jason, and what I said on Saturday when I covered the show on my end is, you know, Oba is coming out of the NIL program. He's only been doing this for 3 years. For 3 years, he is further along than I think a lot of people that we've seen in recent memory. And when he comes out, man, I tell you, his entrance with the green and red lighting, the way that he stands in the ring with the championship held above his head and that shadowy silhouette of his, bro, that is a fucking all-star entrance. And you can already tell that not only the company looks at him as a major star, but he is a fucking major star. He is tremendous. And I thought the presentation for him with Washington, D.C. chanting his name, Oba, and they were kind of chanting along to his theme music. Man, this guy is, we talked about it earlier. Bro, this guy is more than ready for a main roster call-up, and it should have happened fucking weeks ago, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, he crosses all the boxes for all the attributes you would look for in a major star. I mean, he just walks out there, his presence, dude. Like, he was almost like dwarfing Cody.
Yeah.
And Cody was trying stuff, and he was just, like, batting him down. So I don't know how you can look at this guy and not think that he is not already money on that main roster when he gets called up full-time. So the presentation was great. I thought that he acquitted himself very well in the match. I mean, obviously we didn't get a clean finish and it wasn't like a long match, but I thought what they had him do in there, he was great. And Cody gave him a lot in that match too. He made him look like he belonged. He made him look like he was an equal. So that was important. You want people to have the impression that he's not beneath him, but that he's basically on the same, like on the same level as someone of a Cody Rhodes caliber. And I thought they did a good job of that. And then, of course, you get to there was that spot on the outside where they went flying over the table and Cody comes up and there's just blood pouring out of his ear. So I don't know if he got cut on like the earlobe or exactly where the cut was. He had a Band-Aid on his ear, like his earlobe later in the show. So it wasn't anything major. But my first thought was, man, in the same year where he got his eardrum busted by Travis Scott, this poor guy now has blood pouring out of his ear. I don't know if it was the same year or not, but that was the one bit of blood that we got on the show on Saturday.
Well, yeah, that's when it's best, when it happens naturally. A lot of people were like, maybe they cut the match short because of the blood, because it started to really pour from his ear, and you started to get it smeared all over his face, and people were maybe thinking that they cut the match short because there was a lot of blood loss and the referee kind of called an audible, or WWE called an audible. I'm like, I don't think so. I think Cody would probably just wrestle through it and just fucking finish the way that they had planned to finish. But the match did feel short. Like, I was thoroughly enjoying it and I wanted to see more of it. So they got me, and I'm sure they got you too. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of everything on the show, but this one specifically, I felt like this could have easily went another 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think any of the matches, except maybe the main event, went longer than 10 minutes. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of the matches were kept, and I noticed it in the tag team match especially, a lot of the matches were kept pretty short. So they gave you just enough to where you saw what you needed to see of the NXT talents, but it was almost like, okay, A, this night is not about them only, and B, we don't want to give away too much here. We just want to show you, okay, this is what we see in them, this is what they do, this is Soul hitting her key moves and all that in her match. And so that's what they gave us. And then we got to the finish. And I mean, I talked about it last week. I said, I cannot envision a finish where Drew McIntyre does not get involved. And that's their out for protecting both men by, not having them have to lose, by having Drew run in. But if they do it that way, the key then would be that maybe Oba makes a save for Cody. And that's basically what they did.
Yeah, I was...
it was terrible. I mean, look, to end the match that way... I
was actually more upset with the way this ended than the match with Gunther and John Cena, honestly.
I was more upset with I think the match that upset me more than anything else this year, and there were several, but I keep going back to that Bound for Glory match with Leon Slater and
oh god,
and
that was
Evans.
Fucking ridiculous.
To me, that is the worst of 2025. That is the worst of 2025. Of all the matches I saw where I was into it, man, and they were having a fucking banger match, and then you end it like that. And it was bad enough, like they teased they were going to add more time, and then they just fucked you a second time with Dark State. So nothing will be as bad as that. But this one was, this was not a great finish, but it was the one that I expected. And at least they did it in a way where Oba was like, he was angry. Because he didn't ask for Drew McIntyre to get involved. And he put Drew down at the end of it. He picked him up. He chokeslammed him. He shook hands with Cody. So they did their part to try to protect Oba with that terrible finish as much as they possibly could.
Yeah, it's a situation where, I've been harping on WWE for being too safe, as Jason has been doing the same thing. They are way too safe. I felt like this was just playing into their cards of being safe. Like, to me, if Cody is to lose a non-title match to someone like Oba, which we know is not realistic, but we hope, that would be you know what? We're putting our stamp of approval on this guy. Cody's putting his stamp of approval on this guy. McIntyre comes in. At least it would make sense. It builds to another match with McIntyre and Cody. I was hoping they did something like that. McIntyre wouldn't necessarily be helping Oba, but he would be kind of fucking over Cody Rhodes. So they included McIntyre in this. And I'm trying to see what WWE did here because McIntyre on Friday didn't come to Friday Night SmackDown because he has now basically told Nick Aldis that it's a hostile work environment or not a safe work environment. He doesn't want to come back to work, even though Cody wants him to come back to work. So now he's crying on his end that he's not going to come back to work until everything is safe. So then he shows up on Saturday and kind of goes against everything he told Nick Aldis. So that mixed with the fact that it was a seed planted, I would say, that when Oba makes it to the main roster, that at some point when he gets there, sooner rather than later, he's going to cross paths with Drew McIntyre. And I do like the aspect of that match. So there's a lot to like about the ending, but it all goes back to WWE being too safe. I just wish they would take more risks and give us a fucking ending or a conclusion to a match that says, oh shit. I didn't think they were going to do that, but they fucking did it. Good on them.
Yeah, I mean, again, as far as Oba goes, I mean, this man is the future. I mean, people talk about Braun Breaker. There's a core of guys, and I've mentioned like Oba Femi, Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu. You could see, right? There are certain people that are going to, and maybe Dom, you put Dom in that category too, that are going to be in that top mix and help carry this company going forward for hopefully years to come. I go back and forth between Breaker and Oba as far as who I think that guy should be. I know WWE thinks it should be Breaker. He's getting the big push right now. I think Oba may be that guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, they say Braun Breaker's going to main event WrestleManias for years to come, and this guy will.
Yeah. No, he should.
Yeah.
He should. Absolutely.
They may be in a WrestleMania main event together.
That'd be great. I'd love to see it. Throw Jacob Fatu in there too.
Yeah. Jacob Fatu versus Oba Femi on SmackDown. That's exactly what we need to get excited about Friday nights.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this was a very good match for what it was. Very much looking forward to Oba on the main roster, and I believe this will not be the last time that they cross paths, them two here, Cody and Oba. There was a spot in this match that I really loved. There was a spot where Cody dropped down to do that patented gold dust-like thrust as he flatbacks on the mat, and then Oba grabbed him by the throat and hit that devastating backbreaker. That was a great spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And he bealed him halfway across the ring at one point. Yeah.
So that was the opening match. Good stuff there. We go into Bayley and Lyra. Well, not really Bayley and Lyra. Lyra was out there with Bayley.
Really?
It was Bayley.
I must have missed that match on Saturday.
Bayley with Lyra against Sol Ruca and Zarya.
Can we just acknowledge when Bayley came down to the ring, she saw Trish Stratus and went over, and then next to Trish Stratus was Eve Torres. And I had a thing for Eve, you know, back in the day, and I haven't seen her in forever. She looks exactly the same. She's amazing. She looks incredible. And she never shows up on any of these shows. Like, I don't know that I have seen her on WWE television since she left. Like, she's not featured, and that may be by her own choice. So I wasn't expecting her to be there. She had history with John Cena. I don't know if you remember that whole angle with Zack Ryder and her kissing Cena. And I think Ryder was remember he was in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
And he spotted them kissing, and he was like devastated and heartbroken. Then Kane threw him off the stage in the wheelchair. So, you know, she had history with Cena too. But I saw her, I'm like, wow, Eve is there, and she looks incredible. So that was cool.
I wonder what their secret is. Sometimes you just see someone like that after years and years, and they look exactly the same. And then some people look fucking awful.
She married one of the Gracies, and I know she's... yeah, I don't know what it is that she may practice or whatever. Maybe I don't know, keeps you fit, you know, I guess. I don't know, but she looks amazing.
So it's great.
She looks great.
It was Bayley. Lyra was in her corner. Sol Ruca, Zarya was in her corner. I mean, you could see the telegraphing of a turn from Zarya and Sol Ruca coming from a mile away. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's coming. But I thought this was very good. This actually went longer than the previous match with Cody and Oba. But the thing I liked about this match, Jason, is that WWE took a shot at putting Bayley, who hasn't really been in much of anything lately, and she's really taken a backseat creatively this year, especially when you look at what the other four horsewomen are doing. And Bayley is a legend in her own right. And they tasked her, out of everybody on the roster, who is seemingly more popular and involved in more, put her on this show against Sol Ruca. Now, I know Bayley has always been about putting the division first and then herself second. This match definitely fed into that narrative because Bayley just feeds off this type of environment. Bayley feeds off this type of moment, and Bayley would be the first woman to help any of the younger women on that roster get to where they need to be. She's one of the more selfless women on the roster. I remember stories with Sasha and Bayley going out in front of the arena and being in the crowd at MetLife when Becky and Charlotte and Ronda were in the main event of WrestleMania. They wanted to see it firsthand because it was such a monumental moment for the women's division. They basically the reasons why the women's tag team championships were created too, both of them. She has always put the division first, and the fact that she led Sol Ruca to such a very good match and helped get Sol Ruca over to a next level here, I thought was just, it said a lot about Bayley. It said a lot about Sol Ruca being on the show, but I think it said a lot about Bayley also being a part of this. So that's the way I kind of took what they did here on Saturday night. I don't know about you.
I wasn't really a fan of how they did the finish.
With the
I was going to let you finish your spiel before I get into
the Soul Snatcher.
Well, no, she hit the Soul Snatcher, which is obviously it's an incredible finish, and it's going to get her over. If nothing else does, that'll get her over for sure very quickly on the main roster. But she hits the Soul Snatcher, and it's like, man, you couldn't let her win with her finish that everybody always pops for. Because you had Bayley almost try to roll out of the ring, and she was dead weight, and then Soul had to drag her back into the ring. And then Bayley springs to life and just rolls her up. But then Soul gets a flash pin off a roll up and wins. Yeah. Just let her win with the fucking Soul Snatcher. Like, what is the big deal?
Yeah, the last 90 seconds didn't need to happen.
No. Just off the reaction to the Soul Snatcher alone, she hits it, she covers Bayley, and she pins her. And she gets the biggest win of her career. And you get the same segment that we got on Raw last night. Nothing has to change, where Bayley is like, man, I don't know. Maybe what Asuka said about me is true. And then Lyra pushes her around and slaps her. Like, you get to the same place. Just let her win with her finish. Like, what? They have to protect people, even when they don't have to. No, we gotta find a way to protect them.
I don't really understand. They were handing Bayley a loss anyway. So now why not hand her a loss that is definitive? Who gives a shit?
Right.
Like, what are you protecting Bayley from?
Right. That was my point. So I enjoyed it. And then they did the finish. And I'm like, you didn't have to do that. Just let her win off the Soul Snatcher.
What do you think of Sol Ruca? How do you think she's going to fare on the main roster? Is she ready for a call up now, or you wait a little bit longer for her to play out that Zarya feud that is inevitably coming?
I mean, you could just finish out the Zarya thing and then get her up. Get her up. She's ready. She's ready. The only thing I worry about are her knees. You know, I know she tore her ACL once before, and I see her doing all these incredible backflips out of the ring to the floor and all this stuff. And
yeah, they're like a flipping handspring over the top rope. Perfectly cleared the top rope on Saturday.
That's the only thing I worry about, because there's been so many instances with these women out of NXT just tearing up their knees. It's been like an epidemic over the last 5 years.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I worry about with her. She's great. I think she's going to get, she's got just great charisma. She's got super marketability once they call her up. She's going to go far. And they obviously love her, so she's going to win a bunch of championships. She is someone that the SmackDown Women's Division could definitely use right now.
Yeah, I would love to see her mix it up with that United States Championship to bring it back to some prestige, but hopefully in 26. So Sol Ruca beats Bayley. Very good match. We got more legends in the front row. We got Sheamus, Rob Van Dam, Corey Graves, Becky Lynch. Actually, no, this was a video package. I'm sorry. Sheamus, Rob Van Dam, Corey Graves, Becky Lynch, Michael Hayes, Tom Stewart, Stu, the cameraman, Michael Cole, Cody Rhodes, Undertaker, all wished John Cena well. We even got one from The Rock.
Well, just to go back to RVD for a second, just like best wishes to him and his wife, because I know she was having some sort of pregnancy complication, was in the hospital, so hopefully all is okay. I guess she's expecting
I thought it was twins, no?
I think it's twins, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So whatever happened, I think she's in the hospital and it's being addressed, but hopefully everything is okay.
All right, yeah, we love RVD. So yeah, there was spoken word vignettes here. Rock, they cut his short because he went on like a 2-minute spiel. Yeah, he obviously had to make it about himself in the 2 minutes. So we bled
Did he mention
together.
his tequila?
No,
He did, right?
did he?
I think at some point in that video, I will guarantee you. I didn't even see the full video. I want somebody to tell me if at some point in the video he mentioned tequila.
I'm sure he said he drank together. They tore ligaments together. They bled together.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Everything but finish a storyline together that you started in March. But
well, that we can't do. We can't do that. We can do all these other things, but we can't do that.
Everything but finish a storyline, man, and then go absent for WrestleMania. Yeah, we can do everything but that. So yeah, Michelle McCool and RVD were actually shown in the audience alongside Sami Zayn and his son. Nick Khan was front row. Michael Cole mentioned Corey Graves, JBL, Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, and then Taz as colleagues that he's called 23 years of John Cena's career with over the years. So very, very classy by Michael Cole to mention Taz, who is also working with AEW and very good in his own right over there. Love him. And then Jim Ross, who's also with AEW and legitimately one of the voices of our generation. So good on him. Very classy. We got the WWE Tag Team Champions here, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee against Javon Evans and Leon Slater. Leon Slater is the...
Well, I was going to say, not only is he the TNA X Division champion, but evidently we now have our answer as far as who is going to be challenging Obafemi for the NXT Championship, because apparently he is now the new #1 contender.
So they basically substituted one similar guy for the other similar guy.
Well, I mean, hey.
Hey, listen, whatever works. Leon Slater's
to
great.
me, it's gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna be a great match, but I don't know. I mean, I hear that. I'm like, I think he just made the match a little more predictable. Did they not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's better than Dion Lennox, no?
No, it is. It is. But do you honestly believe they will put the NXT Championship on the TNA X Division champion?
WWE would never do such a thing. TNA could hope.
Yeah, but they're clearly high on Leon and they should be, because Leon's great. So I think we know where he's headed once his run with TNA is over. If you wanted to know, by the way, what one of the biggest benefits is to WWE of this partnership, there it is. I mean, they get a pipeline to whoever they want. It's like, we want that guy. We want that girl. That's who we want. And they'll get him. So Leon Slater and Javon Evans, they teamed up here in this match. And from the opening bell, I mean, it was... I said they wrestled this match as if they just found out before they went out there that their time got cut.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yep.
They were hitting every big dive right out of the gate, out of the ring, over the post.
But you know what? In conjunction with like who they are and their age, that's exactly what you would expect two 21-year-olds to actually go out there and do to start a match against two guys like this. So I didn't even mind it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they were going a million miles an hour out there, like their life depended on it. And it's like they were just a ball of energy. So what happened, of course, that a lot of people will remember this match for, which is unfortunate, is the end of the match when AJ Styles was setting up for the phenomenal forearm and he slipped and he fell off the top rope. And good on Leon Slater. I said, he improvised very nicely there, very quickly. Quick thinking where he immediately went over and tried to quickly pin AJ and he kicked out. So I thought that was very, good instincts on his part. And even with the slip up there, which is rare from AJ, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. I wish it was longer. It was very, very short. But I thought it was a good showcase for what, Javon and Leon bring to the table. A fun, youthful energy that I think we need more of on these shows.
Yeah, I enjoyed this for what it was. It went like 9 minutes. I think Slater and Evans, to me, that's the match of the year. Jason said it was the worst ending of the year for a match. I agree. That ruined the entire fucking moment for me. But the match that they had before that, before the restart, was just tremendous stuff. I thought when AJ went up for the forearm, I now that he has said that he is retiring next year, and that he doesn't want to overstep his boundaries and he doesn't want to get to a point in his career where he can't hang and he embarrasses himself. Every time he does something like that, I'm thinking about what he said, and I'm thinking, I hope he doesn't botch. I hope he doesn't fucking mess this up. Or get hurt. And it was so shocking that I was thinking that, and then looking at it actually happening after thinking about it, and I was thinking to myself, was it a botch? Did he do that on purpose? And no, it was. He legitimately messed up the spot, which, like you said, was unfortunate because That was the one glaring thing that everyone's going to remember from the match.
Well, I'm sure that was going to be the finish too. Probably
Yeah.
him hitting the forearm. The only reason they went with the Styles Clash is because they had to improvise.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was unfortunate, and I guess with AJ feeling the way that he does, I guess that just adds a little bit more feeling to him being justified in his decision. So
You could tell he was very upset.
Yeah, he
like,
was
If you
very
read it on his face, he was probably fucking fuming on the inside.
yeah,
But it didn't take away from the rest of the match. I thought it was good. It was too short.
yeah, way too short. They are still the tag team champions, as this was a non-title match. They may be setting up something. We'll talk about the Raw stuff in a little bit, but they may be setting up them and the Usos at some point for the tag team championships, which, I mean, I'm not really super excited about. It's just going from one to the other with no real fix for the tag team division, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. We got a litany of tweets here. We got Cena, congratulating Cena, Kane, R-Truth, Miz, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Alexa Bliss, Logan Paul. Stephanie McMahon was hosting with Joe Tessitore. The Miz was out there as he interrupted the entire show, which brought out The Miz complaining that he should be a part of Cena's retirement and that he should be Cena's last match and that he's had a huge a part of Cena's career. So then R-Truth comes out and he hands The Miz Nick Aldis's balls, which, as you guys know, The Miz found himself one of them. Nick Aldis's ball. Miz found himself in the last time is now tournament twice. So he snuck his name into one of the balls that Nick Aldis was holding while Nick Aldis was having a segment with R-Truth. And Nick Aldis didn't know this happened. So he found himself in a match with LA Knight. He lost to LA Knight. So R-Truth is like, you stole someone's opportunity. And then we found out who that someone was. And the Miz looks at the paper and the ball and he says, Joe Hendry. And then Joe Hendry's on the fucking apron, and he's got that cheesy fucking smile with the close-up camera shot, and his music is playing. I don't know what you thought of this. I thought this was very fitting for this show because I said, we should definitely get a fifth match, and this is them giving us our impromptu fifth match. But the fact that they actually finished what they did not complete on television here, I thought it was appreciative. And Joe Hendry beating the shit out of The Miz was actually pretty entertaining to me.
I just thought it was great that they got Joe a spot on the show because he worked so hard, going on Busted Open in these different places earlier in the year, lobbying for a match with John Cena, which he never got. And at least he got a spot on the retirement show. So he got to be there for it. I'm sure that meant a lot to him. And he got a great reaction, too, for a guy who's not been on the WWE main roster. They were singing that song.
And waving their arms.
Waving their arms. I think that he's going to do just fine when the time comes for him to be on the main roster. Obviously, they're going to be using him right now in NXT. Now, what his ceiling is, I don't know. Do I see him being world champion? I don't. He was a world champion in TNA. I
could see him be NXT champion.
NXT champion. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the main roster.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening there, but I think that he will do well on the main roster.
I could see a U.S. title or an IC title on him.
Sure. But I just don't think his ceiling on the main roster is as high as it was in TNA.
No. I just hope that when he because he's actually very entertaining, and when you let him wrestle, he's very good. I just hope that they don't kind of saddle him into a comedy character role with R-Truth. That would be just so beneath him. And I know that's exactly what they're probably thinking already.
Oh, they're going to use him for comedy. Whether it's with R-Truth or not, I don't know. But he's so... the thing is, like, you can be so entertaining or comical that it works against you. And you get pigeonholed in that role, so hopefully that doesn't happen with him. It's like he could do more than that, He could do more than just be ha-ha all the time. But, like, we'll see him doing concerts, I'm sure,
Yeah, that
stuff
is good. I like that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, coming up with new songs to insult his opponent or whatever. That's really what got him over in TNA. So I think he'll do well. He seems to, more than maybe a lot of other of these talents that we talk about that they're pulling from other places, he seems like he would fit in perfectly with the WWE, like, sports entertainment way of doing things. Like, he gets it, and I think he'll fit in well.
What do you think they're going to do to kind of see the evolution of his character? Because he did say recently that the reason why he signed with WWE is because he wants to evolve as a character. How do you do that with somebody like Joe Hendry, in your opinion?
Heel turn. Turn to the dark side
Okay.
when the fun stuff is over.
So he goes from what he does, very kind of pop rocky, to maybe like some
very
death metal, maybe.
Very tongue in cheek. Oh yeah, like deathcore.
Yeah, there you go.
Like something like that. Because if you're gonna change, you gotta change. You gotta do like a 180 and just show a side of yourself that people have never seen before. I could see him as a heel being like uncomfortably like disturbing. Like almost still tongue in cheek, but in some sort of like disturbing way.
Not like Elias, where he came out like all fucking sopping sad and like playing fucking
No, that's
sad
fucking
ballads.
lame.
Yeah,
No, that's fucking, what is that? That's fucking lame.
he's the drifter, bro.
No, I'm talking like Art the Clown. You're talking, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Someone who writes love songs and fucking depressing tunes, begging for change on the side of the road with his empty guitar case.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out too well if they go in that direction.
No. Can you imagine Joe Hendry's theme is like a heavy metal tune? I think that'd be fucking great.
Sure.
He's already got a great guitar solo in his actual theme right now, so I could definitely see that. Anyway, we go from that to the reason why everybody is so angry. John Cena and Gunther. Last time is now. Cena's final match. Gunther comes out. He's looking all stoic and very final boss-like. John Cena comes out. We got the big introduction from Lillian Garcia. The bell rang, and the match went 25 minutes. I guess I'll start with this, Jason, because I knew coming in, I think we all had a very good understanding of who was going to win this tournament when it was first announced. Meltzer actually got it 100% correct. He got that right. He got Austin Theory's inclusion in the division correct. So he's been trending in the right direction with what he's been talking about lately. But he mentioned the tournament. He mentioned Gunther winning the tournament, and that's exactly what we got. As far as a match with Cena and what we got after 25 minutes, I'm just speaking about the bell-to-bell. How would you rank John Cena's match with Gunther? I put it third out of everything he's done in 2025, with only Cody, SummerSlam, and AJ at Crown Jewel better than what they did. I thought this was the third best match of his entire run.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. I might put it behind the Logan Paul match. I mean, they had a really good match at Clash in Paris. So for me, it's either third or fourth on the list. I can see people ranking it higher because of the emotion of it and just, it's his final match. So, yeah, I mean, ranked order, that sounds about right. I thought it was a good match. I don't understand people saying Gunther was not the right opponent for him. That I heard a lot of that going into the show. I've heard some of that coming out of the show. He wasn't the right guy to begin with. It shouldn't have been him. And
well, who's the right guy then? We asked the question, who would the fans have chosen outside Gunther? And nobody gives you an answer because there is none. Oba.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I was not one of those people. I mean, I thought that Gunther was the perfect final opponent for him. So I was happy to see him get it. I will say, I'll get into it now, but how they got there, as far as deciding on his final opponent, the way they went about doing it, not ideal.
The tournament was disappointing.
And this is one of the issues. It's not even about the tournament. It's the fact that they even had a fucking tournament to begin with. The fact is, one of the reasons why I think some people are upset, and I have issues with it, and what they did, ties into the idea of story. And having a story that would have built to that grand finale, a story that would have built to that final moment, not through interviews in social media, not through interviews on podcasts, but through story on television, on the shows. And part of the problem was that we didn't have Cena for more than 36 appearances for the entire year. But that's one of the issues that I have with it. But as far as Gunther as the opponent, I agree. I think we're in agreement on that. Perfect final opponent for him. You're guaranteed to get a good match out of it. He really is the final boss. I know Rock calls himself that, but he really is the final boss, even before this weekend, on that roster, despite the losses he's taken this year. So I had no issue with it. I thought it was a good match. And I love the fact that, he sees all the people at ringside when he comes out. He goes over, and not just Trish and Eve and them, but like Mark Henry is there. Rob Van Dam is there. Kevin Owens is there. You heard the pop when he hugged Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Like the crowd reacted big, even to Elias. And they saw him. They reacted big. Booker T was there. So that was, that was nice. They looped his music twice, for his entrance. So it was great. It was great. Lillian did the final intro for him. Stu, the cameraman, did the last run down to the ring. I don't understand what they were thinking when Cena took the camera away from Stu and was pointing it at Stu, and they cut to a different fucking shot.
Yeah, they barely showed him.
Why would you do that? Like, what are you doing? I didn't understand the logic behind that. It's like they don't want to show Stu on camera. As far as the entrance and everything, and the theatrics and all that, he got the monster reaction that you would expect him to get. When Gunther was already getting heat from the moment he walked in, because he's the evil guy who's trying to end John Cena in his final match. So it had that big fight feel to it right from the start. And then the only criticism I would have of the match itself, there was a section there, I think it was like in the middle, where there was a lot of repetition. He clotheslined him. I don't know how many fucking times he clotheslined Cena. Cena would get up, he would clothesline him again. Cena would get up, he would clothesline him again. And I'm like, all right, can we move beyond this, please? Like, it went on for a little too long. And then after that, like, it was fine. I didn't have an issue.
Well, Cena did 3 5-knuckle shuffles too, which after 2, it's
that's
like,
right.
All right.
He repeated the same thing twice. It's like, all right,
he mostly did it for the fans, but it's like after 2, it's like overkill.
He did. We got an avalanche attitude adjustment from the middle rope. We got an attitude adjustment from the steps through the announce desk. I loved it when Gunther moved the steps over right next to the announce desk, and he climbed on top of the steps, and he starts doing a dance. He's going like this, like he's dancing on the stairs. I'm like, all right, that's great. But then he gets put through the table. So we got one last announce table bump in a John Cena match. And of course, all of this built to the back and forth for the finish when it came to the sleeper hold. And Cena evading the sleeper hold as many times as he could and trying to go for the attitude adjustment. And that's become a staple of Cena matches all year, where we get the spamming of the attitude adjustments, right? And the attitude adjustment attempts. So we had a lot of that in this match, but it all boiled down to the sleeper hold and the constant attempt on Gunther to apply the sleeper hold. He would lose it. He would put it back on. And then it all built to the big climactic or anticlimactic, depending on how you look at it, finish of this match.
Yeah, it was, I would say, at least a good 4 minutes there was struggle for the sleeper hold. Crowd was actually chanting for Super Cena, which is fucking weird because the Super Cena is the reason why I stopped watching for a year. So to hear that actually being chanted.
A lot of people stopped watching.
Yeah. I was one of them.
Did. Yeah.
So Gunther with the sleeper hold. Cena was in the sleeper hold, like I said, for a good 4 minutes. Cena powered out, tried for another AA. Gunther put the sleeper right back on. Gunther leapt on his back for leverage. So imagine having a 6'5", 250-pound Austrian beast on you. So Cena's strong in his own right, but that's a scary sight. So Cena drove Gunther into the corner to try and break the hold. He didn't hit the corner hard enough, though. Gunther ran back at him, put him in the sleeper. And obviously, we all know Cena does not give up. But this time, Gunther charges in with a clothesline. Cena hits an AA. Gunther kicked out, put the sleeper back on. Cena clenched his fist as the crowd chanted, "Don't give up, don't give up." And then Gunther, basically like a big grizzly bear, wrapped his legs around Cena's body. Referee checked Cena's arm, and they did the classic lift the arm, let it drop 2 times. And then Cena's like feeding off the crowd, and he's shaking his arm. Cena raised his fist, powered back up. Gunther again started delivering those big anvil elbows before putting on the sleeper again. And then the shock, and what everybody is really talking about, is this moment from this point on till the bell rings, where Cena is in the sleeper hold, and he smiles, and then he lightly taps out, and the bell rings, and Gunther lives up to his promise as he makes John Cena give up. He quickly leaves the ring. Cena gets up, sits upright. He's sitting in the ring, and he's got this "I gave you everything I got" type of expression. And Jason, I'll let you take it from here. The crowd reaction to this was less than pleasant, because a lot of people in Washington, D.C., about 19,000 of them, were not very happy.
No, they were not. and I will let you go ahead and plead your case. What let the world know what you thought about what they did, and then we could talk about all the post match stuff, because there was post match stuff, but there was something also missing from the post match, which very much surprised me.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I got a bunch of news and notes on Triple H and the post show. I know a lot of people. I don't like the fact that a lot of people listen to what I say and then always either A, take me out of context, or B, don't understand the point I'm trying to make. I'm never going to come on here, especially with Jason, and try and convince him that I'm right and he's wrong. That's not the type of relationship I have with him. I very much respect him more than anybody that I've worked with or anybody that I know in this community. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. The way that I look at it is I'm a big Gunther guy. I'm a Gunther fan. I've loved Gunther since the first day he walked into the WWE and we heard that music and he fucking dwarfed over Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver. Loved everything he's done. The guy has largely been protected for 7 years now, and he's held a championship for 75% of his lifetime in WWE. There is nobody more legit in this company than Gunther. You look at what Triple H has done from when he's taken over WWE Creative. He has given people exactly what they wanted in the early. And now, this year, honestly, which why I don't really understand why people continue to call me a Triple H grifter or I'm shilling for Noseman. I have shit on him more times than I have in any other year this year. So I don't really understand where people are claiming that I'm defending Triple H in this case. And I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna ask Jason this question because I talked about this last night. You look at Triple H and why WWE is so high on Gunther. Outside of everybody else that Triple H has had to manage, Jason, on the main roster, has Triple H created a true, genuine star in his own administration that didn't come from the Vince McMahon administration? I think Gunther is that guy, and I think he's been a Triple H guy from the very beginning, and I think Triple H is really going to try and push him to be that first legitimate star under his watch and under his administration. I don't think we could really pinpoint to anybody else that really fits that mold. He's really trying with Gunther, and I think this is the right guy to try with.
No, there hasn't been anybody. He's trying now with Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
I think 2026 will tell the tale as far as that goes. That probably will be his breakout year, and that's been completely under Triple H. So we'll see how that goes. But no, Gunther would be that guy. Now, remember, when Gunther got called up from NXT, Vince McMahon was still in charge, but it was right at the very end there.
Yeah.
So when they put the Intercontinental Championship on him, which he went on to hold for 666 days, he beat Ricochet. Vince was still writing the show. But then Vince was gone shortly thereafter. So we'll be able forever and a day to debate whether or not Vince would have booked him as strongly as Triple H has. My guess is no. He would not have been as protected as he has been under Triple H. And I say protected even though he tapped out to Jey Uso. Yes. Lost to CM Punk at SummerSlam. He's taken some losses. Lost to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania last year. It's not like he's undefeated or anything, But he's been largely protected. He's Triple H's guy. He's really the only one. You can't really point to anybody else that would fit that criteria. So you're right about that.
Yeah, so I feel like Triple H is really trying with Gunther, and I think that's the right guy to try with because he's fucking great. Now, when the smile and the tap out happened, we got a chorus of boos. John Cena sat up in the ring. You got your, of course, now, this StreamYard thing. Stay in studio. There you go.
All right.
After the match, John Cena sat up, and Triple H comes on out. Fans are booing. Fans are chanting, "You fucked up." They're booing Triple H. And Triple H has made it wildly known, hey, I booked the show. He's out there acting like WWE's version of Dana White. We see him after every show on the credits with Lee Fitting Monday, Tuesday, and on Friday, and every PLE that accompanies the WWE schedule. So you know who exactly is booking the show. He wants you to know that. So with that, when fault and blame needs to be placed, then we know who to blame. He very well is aware of that. I think with everybody booing the way that the match ended, the tap out and the smile, I genuinely feel in that moment, fans didn't know what they were booing for. They didn't know what they were booing. I genuinely feel that the 19,000 at Capital One Arena were booing because their hero, the guy that said for 23 years, never give up, hustle, loyalty, and respect, they didn't want to see him go out the way that he went out because that's not the way that they wanted him to go out. And honestly, from me to those people, tough shit. That's the way that I look at it. I feel like with John Cena tapping out, not only is it poetic, and I felt like people were using this word a lot, but I do think that's the right word to use here. WWE has told you that they are in the business of telling stories. Triple H has accompanied that statement with Marvel and DC. We tell stories like Marvel and DC. That's exactly what they did with this ending. And John Cena, whether you like it or not, his father didn't even agree with the ending, which I have a quote from him, which we'll read in a little bit. The way that he smiled to me symbolized that he was okay with how things ended. He was okay after 23 years to let that burden go. I didn't look at the smile in a way where it's like, oh man, that's fucking lame. I expected something a little bit more epic from John Cena. How could they have him tap out? First of all, if Gunther made John Cena pass out, it says more about John Cena than it does Gunther, in my honest opinion. The fact that Gunther tapped out John Cena, that means he beat John Cena. He made John Cena do the one thing that he promised never to do. And as a heel, and I said this on social media, as a heel, how many heels in WWE over the last decade plus do we get saying a bunch of shit and they never live up to it? We had to sit through a whole era of Bray Wyatt cutting unbelievable promos and saying a whole bunch of shit and then living up to none of what he said because he was the eater of pins. Every heel that we've had has always said something and never lived up to it. Now you want me to sit here and look at Gunther, who is the most legit fucking badass heel that they got, promising that he's going to make John Cena tap out, and then you want me to have a problem with him actually living up to what he promised. If Gunther didn't make John Cena tap out, it's a blemish on Gunther. John Cena was not supposed to survive someone who made that promise. So that's number one. Number two, the smile. John Cena, I correlate this to, have you watched Gladiator with Russell Crowe?
No.
Chad, I know you guys know what we're talking about. Russell Crowe, Maximus, and then Commodus in Gladiator. He got stabbed mortally in the fight with Commodus and killed Commodus at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, when he killed him, he laid down and died with a smile on his face, knowing that Rome was freed and Rome was saved. He went to go see his wife and his children, which were slain earlier in the movie. He was smiling because he knew Rome was now in good hands and away from evil. That's the way I look at John Cena. Bully Ray made a comment on Busted Open about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Star Wars and attributing this to Star Wars. I even have the picture that John Cena threw up on social media today. You could see it right there on stream. I put it in the stream tonight for you guys to see. He took a still shot of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, and that's all he does because John Cena goes on his Instagram and just gives you these visuals of what he may or may not be thinking. That's exactly what he put on Instagram today. This is exactly what Bully Ray said on Busted Open. And he made the Obi-Wan comparison, and it's a strong emotional comparison. But Obi-Wan removes himself completely from the fight. He chooses transcendence. Cena did not step aside. He stayed in the struggle until there was nothing left. I'm going to give you one better because this is something that I grew up with and something that's close to my heart. I'm going to go back to the first ever Transformers movie and Optimus Prime dying at the end of the movie. Optimus does not choose peace. He chooses to fight anyway against Megatron and the Decepticons. He goes all in knowing it might kill him. He doesn't collapse early. He does not escape. He empties the tank in a war he helped define. And only when the fight is over does the torch get passed. That's John Cena. He passed the Matrix from himself as he was dying in front of his Autobots to Ultra Magnus. And Ultra Magnus took that from Optimus Prime. Cena, that's John Cena. He did not bow out gracefully. He did not disappear. He fought the most dominant force of the era head on. He showed he still belonged. Then he lost in a way that could not be debated. No fluke, no excuse, no asterisks. This is why people don't understand why I am vividly against him passing out. And the key detail that makes Transformers the best comparison in correlation to what Bully Ray said on Busted Open, Optimus does not protect his own myth. His death hurt. It angered people. It traumatized the generation, and it makes the stakes real. Cena tapping does the same thing. Passing out would have softened it. A roll-up would have cheapened it. A pass out would have cheapened it. Tapping out ended the argument. It told the audience this era is done, and it crowned the villain in the most definitive way possible. Gunther did not steal Cena's legacy. He inherited Cena's legacy. This is why I am so vehement on where I stand on this. And again, I'm not looking to change anybody's mind. But what WWE did here is take what Cena did for 23 years and pass it on to the next generation. He knows with that smile and that tap out that he's passing the next generation on to Gunther, and he knows the company and his essence is in good hands, because the next guy that beats Gunther, the next guy that hopefully is the next John Cena, John Cena knows that when that moment happens, the work that he did for 23 years and the moment that he did on Saturday night is going to be well worth the 23 years that it took to get there. Jason, I genuinely think, and I mean this wholeheartedly, you know I don't bullshit. I feel like the fans thought emotionally. I thought the fans were thinking emotionally when they were booing Triple H. I don't think, and I'm not defending Triple H in any way, I don't think Triple H is to blame for this. He is the guy that finalizes the show, but I genuinely feel that at the beginning of this day on Saturday, Triple H went to John Cena and said, John, what do you want to do? How do you want to end your chapter? How do you want to end your career? Triple H finalized it, but I genuinely think this is what John Cena wanted to do and the way John Cena wanted to go out. The fans in Washington, D.C., I feel, were so emotionally distraught because their hero legitimately died in front of them doing the one thing that he promised never to do. And I don't think the fans could cope with the fact that Gunther made him do it. Now I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to what comes next. And I'm looking forward to the next star that is made off of Gunther tapping out John Cena. Triple H, I feel like he gets away from this and does not deserve the blame for this, because I do feel that the fans were thinking with their emotions first. And I do think that they did not want to see John Cena compromised, because the John Cena that they knew was not the John Cena that left us on Saturday. That's why I feel so heavily about this.
You done?
I am done, yes.
Okay.
This guy put reading glasses on. Look at him.
I'd like to read you something. Everybody listening right now, I want to read you some quotes from JD from NY 206. This is from the December 9th episode of Tuesday Night Titans just 1 week ago. So we were talking about, where we think this match is going or where we think this match should be going. Now, I was very clear that I thought, you know what, you give the fans, just give the fans that, great ending they could really hang their hat on, and it's okay if John Cena gets a win in this match. Now, I totally understand that the likelihood of that happening was very, very slim. But I said, man, that would be, I think, a cool way, exception to the rule, this nonsense about you always go out on your back, which, of course, is not always true. But I brought that up as an idea, right? This is JD. JD says he was in total agreement with me that John Cena should win his final match. Okay, that's number one. So you agreed with me at the time that you were okay with the idea of John Cena winning. You're like, you know what? You're right. John Cena should win his final match. JD said, the idea of all these people, they are not paying to see John Cena lose in his final match. The idea of him tapping out in his final match, according to JD from New York 206, fucking lame. Those are your words. You said the idea of him tapping out in his final match was fucking lame. You said Gunther is so protected in a way that they have figured out how to keep him beast-like after losing to Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. So those were the words. I'll take this off now. I think I've made.
Could you see in those things? Do you need glasses?
Not for this purpose, I don't. Driving, I do, but reading, I don't. But, I wanted to go into my little fireside chat mode here with the pipe and everything. So these are things that you said. We were talking about this and having a conversation here on the show last week. And the idea that people would be upset, and there are many people who are upset that other people were upset that John Cena tapped out, and they can't understand why this was a great thing. How come you can't see it? The reality is this. Sometimes you need to read the room. And I understand the idea that John Cena should have lost. I don't really have an issue with John Cena losing. That's not even what I had an issue with. I thought the finish of the match was no good. And the finish of the match was no good because you had John Cena tap out in the way that he did. I can understand why they did it. And you presume a lot, by the way, when you say that you figure it was John Cena's idea through and through, and he came to Triple H and said, this is the way it has to be. I want it to be done this way. This is the vision I have in my head of how I want this finish to go. And Triple H was like, okay, if that's what John wants to do, then that's what we'll do. We don't know that. We don't know that. What we do know is that John Cena has been very open about the fact that he doesn't pitch or lobby for hardly anything other than the fact that he wanted NXT talents to be showcased on this show. And thank God he got his way, because Triple H's idea was to do nothing but a 2-hour John Cena tribute show. Can you imagine doing a 2-hour John Cena tribute show and ending with that finish? So at least we had Obafemi and Sol Ruka and these other talents that were, they had a chance to be focused on and highlighted on that show because it really enhanced the show. But we don't know exactly where the idea came from. If it was John Cena's idea to tap out and do the finish exactly the way that he did, I'm happy that John Cena got what he wanted as far as that final moment. I'm happy for him. It doesn't change my thoughts or my opinion that the finish was garbage. Both of those things can be true. It could have been John Cena's idea, and the fans are entitled to think, you know what, that was really underwhelming, or that was really not the way that I thought that John Cena's final match should go, right? It's okay to have that opinion. Both of those things can be true. You had a lot of people in the building that night in DC who paid a lot of money, like an obscene amount of money, to be in the building that night for John Cena's final match. The people chanting bullshit and the people chanting you fucked up and fuck Triple H when he came out after that match, unfortunately, that will now forever be a part of John Cena's final match, the memory that people have of John Cena's final match. And I see some people who are shitting on the crowd. They didn't get it. They have to have their hand held. They don't understand. It's cinema, right? I've seen this fucking word thrown around all week long, and people making comparisons to movies and stuff. And some of the analogies you made, I see exactly where you're coming from on that. But you just spent like 20 minutes coming up with different analogies and explanations and why this is what they were trying to do, or I could see the vision of what they were trying to do. When you have to take so much time to try to explain to people, or even explain to yourself in some cases, for the people who are trying to rationalize this, well, I think I see where they're going with this. I think I see what John was trying to do. First of all, him posting a meme on social media, he uses that Instagram account to shitpost most of the time. So I don't know if his whole idea was, hey, I'm going to go with a Star Wars finish, or if he's just playing off the fact that Bully and other people were mentioning Obi-Wan after the fucking show on Saturday. That's all I saw were references to Star Wars and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, it's a Star Wars finish. Of course, who gives a fuck about Star Wars? I'm not watching WWE to get a Star Wars finish. I don't want to have to watch all these different movies to know what they were going for with this finish. I was watching the show, and the one thing I know above anything else is that John Cena went 20 years marketing himself around hustle, loyalty, and respect, and never give up. It's on all of his merch, right? It's on his t-shirts, his hats. He probably has it stitched into his fucking underwear. And he has it on his socks too, apparently, because when he took his tennis shoes off, he had one sock that said never give up. So that's been his mantra this entire time. This company has made millions of dollars off this guy. Never give up. All the little kids never give up. All the Make-A-Wish kids never give up. The reason I said last week, I cannot imagine them having him give up, is for this very reason. I understand Gunther went on television and said, I'm going to make you give up. I would not have done that. I would not have had him do that, but they did it. And so it's going to get incredible heat. Oh my God, the heat that Gunther is going to get if he makes John Cena tap out. And you have John Cena tap out in the most anticlimactic way possible. I saw him flash the smile and all that. What they were going for, I don't think it translated well for a lot of people. And I totally understand why, because it didn't translate well for me either. I saw that finish and said, what the fuck was that? And again, I understand now what they were going for. It doesn't change my mind on it in the slightest. It doesn't change my mind on it at all, because John Cena did something in that match that I think would have been perfect for the finish of this match. And it would have stayed true to the character that he built up for all those years. When they were dropping the arms, you remember the moment where he went like this and he gave the okay sign?
Mm-hmm.
We had the smile on his face at the finish. The perfect finish if you were going to do it this way and have Gunther go over by submission. John Cena is struggling. He's trying to get out of this hold. He can't do it, but he's fighting. He's doing the one thing he always said, never give up. And in that moment, he realizes he's trapped. He's got nowhere to go. There's really nothing he can do. And so he smiles or he smirks or whatever, but he holds up that sign with his fingers and then he fades. He's at peace, but he always stayed true to the one thing he told people, no matter what, never give up. So he's at peace with it. He's resigned to his fate. He accepts his fate, but he never gives up. And Gunther could go around for the rest of his career and he can gloat and he could tell people, I'm the guy who retired John Cena. I'm the guy who put John Cena to sleep. John Cena, the reason he didn't win his last match and he went out a loser, he went out like a bitch is because of me. You can still get to that same place. Gunther comes out on Monday night. I believe he gets the same, more or less, the same heat that he got, even if he doesn't make John Cena tap out. There's a way to do it where he still comes out and gets unbelievable molten heat, and he becomes the ultimate heel that you can really build up into a special attraction next year. But you also don't betray what made this character what he was for 20 years. You give the fans something, right? You don't want to give them the happy ending. That's fine. I understand it. Not every story has a happy ending, but you give them something that they can hang their hat on. At least he stayed true to his word and went out on his shield. And instead, they did the finish in such a way that obviously you saw in the building that night, people were not happy about it. But there were a lot of people also watching at home who were not happy about it and who felt cheated in many ways after a retirement run that left a lot to be desired. And that I do blame Triple H for. Triple H will always be associated with John Cena's final run being less than what it could have been. And it should have been a slam dunk. This should have been the easiest fucking thing in the world to build. And how they made all these missteps along the way, they'll do studies about it. Okay, there were good moments, there were some low moments, there were a lot of low moments. So yes, a lot of that rage, I think, was directed at him. People remembering that this run that you've had him on, this is how you choose to end it. You had a chance here to at least leave people with something that maybe it doesn't redeem the entire retirement tour, but you give the fans something, even if he loses. And they couldn't even do that. And that was my biggest issue and my biggest gripe with the way they did that finish. They completely smacked all the fans in the face. This is a product built on fan service. Like, I get it. It's John Cena. He wants to retire the way he wants to retire. Fine, but it's still fan service. You're putting on a fucking show for the fans. You can have your cake and eat it too. There's a way to do that finish where you accomplish all of these goals. You get Gunther heat, but you also give people something that they can at least say, you know what? I could think of worse ways for this guy to go out. He went out like a light, but he refused to do the one thing that you built this whole character around. You sacrificed other talents for. Never give up. And he stayed true to that until the very end. But he lost. And so he rides off into the sunset. He puts Gunther over. This time-honored tradition bullshit I keep hearing about. He does the time-honored tradition, which again is not always the time-honored tradition. But I get it. He's staying. Cena's leaving. But he gets to hold on to that one thing. What would be the issue with that? None. But they wanted the moment, the viral moment of the shocked expressions on everybody's face, like The Undertaker when his streak was broken. And so they got what they wanted. They had all the shocked faces. They had all the little kids crying. They have all their social media moments. And that's great. But you don't get to do over again, right? You get one shot at that. And I think they dropped the ball on the finish.
Why is it WWE's fault? You said it's a fan service, which I agree with 100%. Why is it WWE's fault that the fans are not patient enough to see everything pay off and play out? Why do we need
What is the payoff? What is the payoff?
What is the payoff? Gunther is now the hottest heel in the entire industry. He's the most hated villain in the entire pro wrestling world.
Okay. And he would have been had they done the finish the other way. He beat John Cena and he came out on Monday night and gloats about it. Why do you have to do the finish exactly that way?
Because
you can't accomplish the same thing otherwise.
A visual tap out with him actually alive and breathing while doing it is a lot better than him having an arm drop, in my opinion. And then he shows up on Monday night and he gets the heat that he gets. I wish it was better because it was Hersey, Pennsylvania, and they got a 2-hour SmackDown before. But I wasn't expecting Roman Reigns after WrestleMania, after beating the Undertaker type of heat. But why are we protecting John Cena when it's all about building?
It's not about protecting John Cena.
Well, who gives a shit about hustle, loyalty, and respect and never give up?
But you're looking at it the wrong way. Who gives a shit about it? A lot of fans gave a shit about it because you invested 20 years into it.
They care about it.
Well, see, you would fit right in on the WWE creative team. That's not my problem. Who gives a fuck about the fans?
They're hanging on to something that they can't hang on to anymore. He's 23 years in. What the fuck do you want?
Story-wise, you talk about story. Story-wise, is that not a fitting story ending that he went out on his shield, that he accepted his fate, but he stayed true to the one core belief, the one core value that he lived by for 20 years of his career? That's not a story, a type of storybook ending for the character,
bro. That's a story. That's a story for a character.
What changed from the way you felt last week to the way you felt this week?
Because
you said that it would be fucking lame for him to tap out.
I did, but I didn't know. I didn't know how they would go about it. A simple tap out would have been, in my opinion, a little less than. The way that they went about it and the story that I see that they told with him tapping out and the whole symbolism behind him never giving up and the smile, nobody knew that was going to be the ending last week. So I did say that. But then obviously my opinion changed when I seen the entire thing play out. I can say an album fucking sucks from the two singles that I heard before it actually releases. And then I listened to the album and it's fucking great and one of my favorite all-time albums. So it doesn't really matter from a week to week to week what my opinion is. But my feeling is, why are we protecting John Cena and going on that narrative of like the hero needs to maintain the reason why he existed for 23 years. Some movies, the hero dies. In this movie, the hero dies to the villain.
Right. This is not a movie.
Well, I'm only going based. It's a scripted program, and for all we know, it's a fucking weekly television drama. So,
I just love the idea that people build this up. I know WWE says, we make movies and all that, and that's the way they sort of describe what they do. And I guess you could say they're like little mini movies every single week. But again, this idea that we're in the cinema era now, I think some people take this idea a little too far and they overcomplicate it when it doesn't have to be that complicated. I understand where you're coming from on that. But at the same time, can you not understand why a lot of people would be very upset and would be very underwhelmed by the way that they did, not that he lost, but just the way that they did that finish, and that the chance would not be justified in the arena that night? Because you're looking at it as you got to let it play out. There's a long-term payoff to this, right? And I'm telling you, whatever that payoff is, whoever that person is, a year from now, 2 years from now, who beats Gunther, you can still get that same payoff by doing the finish the other way. He did not need to do the lazy tap out there at the end.
Bro,
where it's like, I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of beating me, because he wasn't even selling that he was trapped in this devastating sleeper hold that he uses as his finishing fucking maneuver, by the way. He's literally laying there and he's got this smile on his face. He's like, I wonder what I'm going to do. All right, you know what? You got me. You got me. It's like if I'm playing a game on my phone with somebody, right? It could be Words with Friends. Take that as a fucking example. I mean, you're a gamer. It could be anything. But I'm playing against a friend of mine, right? And I got them beat. Man. My score, I don't know. My score is like 300 points and their score is like 160, right? They're not going to beat me, but we're not quite at the end of the game yet. And then they resign. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, you could let me actually beat you. Like, it's like I look at this and I go, I'm looking at John Cena with this smile on his face and he's laying there like this for several seconds. And then he does the lazy tap out and I'm like, this can't possibly be the finish that they decided on would be a good idea here for this match. But it is. And I'm like, you could have accomplished something better by having him struggle. And then when he realizes, okay, this is not working, with the finger up in the air like this, he fades. He fades out. And the referee calls the match off and Gunther wins and he gets that submission victory, the stoppage, whatever you want to call it, over John Cena. His name still goes in the record books as a winner over John Cena in his final match. He sent him off a loser, and he can gloat about it and have t-shirts made until the end of time, and he'll have the same level of heat he would have had otherwise. He can come out and call John Cena a bitch, call him whatever he wants. That was not the only way to accomplish that. You make it sound like that's the only way that he could get this molten heat. He had to tap out John Cena. I disagree. I don't think he had to tap out John Cena.
I thought the tap out was symbolic in the way where I looked at it for what they were trying to go for. I wasn't looking at it as a way, oh my God, John Cena's run culminates in this. He's got to win the match. I'm looking at it going into Saturday night, and I'm thinking,
which
to
you
myself,
could have, but
I could
again,
have, but I'm not
sure.
that way. I'm gonna be brutally honest with everybody. I'm more of a bad guy than I am a good guy. I'm more for the villains than I am the heroes. I have no problem saying that heroes should die. I don't think heroes need to get their final ride off into the sunset with a W in pro wrestling or a victory over evil. I think evil needs to reign supreme to have the hero die so that when the next hero comes around, that hero is the one that's built up and slays the monster that slayed their past hero. That's the way that I look at it. That's the way I'm looking at this. So, for 23 years, everybody's like, he should have laid, the groundwork for 23 years of hustle, loyalty, and respect and never give up. Bro, I don't find that to be important nowadays going into 2025. I find that to be people who are emotionally
you may
attached
not,
that
but a lot of
cannot
people
let
do.
go. So
That's fine. You may not think it's important, but a lot of people do. And look, John Cena spent the majority of this retirement tour putting over other people over. He put over Jey Uso in the Royal Rumble. He put over Cody Rhodes. He put over Dominic Mysterio, right? He put over a bunch of people.
Well, the reason why the reason why we thought he would win is because he lost to Dominic Mysterio, and we both thought that going into his last match. I mean, 2 losses in a row looks a little ridiculous, so we all thought that he would win.
No, sure. And I'm just saying, though, the argument for him winning is, for the people who wanted to see him win, you could say, well, he spent the majority of this tour putting over other people. So I'm saying that's one way you could have gone with it. Gunther winning, fine. I'm a Gunther guy. I'm a Gunther fan, and he's staying and Cena's leaving, and I get it. I get the idea behind it. But then so it comes down to how they did the finish. That was my real beef with it. As much as I would have thought, okay, Cena winning, there's a way to do it where it's cool. Gunther could snap after, and you could send him on some monster run. But okay, you want to give Gunther the win, fine. The way they did it, though, was underwhelming. And no amount of looking back and saying, well, it's because of this, or this was the idea behind it. It doesn't change. There's a certain emotion you feel when you watch that finish. And clearly your emotion is different than mine. But I think that as far as the way they did it, you could get the same outcome with Gunther, regardless of whether or not he taps out John Cena. Sure, it may add a little something extra to it, but it's not like it had to be done this way. We can't get to where we want to get Gunther if we don't do it this way. Gunther is fucked unless he taps out John Cena. Gunther was made the minute they chose him as Cena's final opponent because I'm sure he was always going to win that match. He gets to go down as the guy who beat John Cena. The issue is the way they did it. That's really what people have an issue with. The people who don't like the finish. That's really what I believe they have an issue with. And I think all the chants afterwards and everything, it's a shame that will be part of what John Cena's retirement is now remembered for. The person in the building that night, forget last night, the person in the building that night who had the most heat was not Gunther. It was Triple H. He walked out there, big smile on his face, and the fans were booing him out of the building. And the same thing in the post-match or in the post-show scrum. When he came out, he had the fans behind him, and they were chanting AEW, and they were chanting "You fucked up," and they were chanting all this stuff. And, Meltzer is like, they were caught off guard by the reaction. They weren't expecting the people to be this upset. How can you be so out to lunch that you don't realize that this is the finish, the way you've done this, is going to upset a lot of people, including people who paid thousands of dollars to come to the building that night to see John Cena in his final match. Of course, they're going to be a little upset with the way that finish was done. And they have every single right to go ahead and make their voices heard because they paid a lot of money to be there. So, of course, they're going to let you know how they feel. Good. He deserves a lot of heat for different things that happened on this retirement tour anday.
He deserves a lot of blame. I'm not giving him a pass. This entire run dating to the fucking heel turn was there were some good. I don't want to say it was all bad. There were some good. It was mostly bad, mostly directionless, and mostly no planning behind it, which we have given him grief week in and week out over it. So I'm not excusing him. But the fact of the matter is, and I understand and I agree with you completely, a lot of people are upset with the way that it ended. A lot of people have come to me and said that they're not upset that Gunther beat John Cena. It was the way in the way he beat John Cena.
It was the way the finish was done. Yes, so absolutely.
Let me explain this to you because I wrote all this down. let me explain it to you how I see the tap out. I get what you're saying 100%, and I do like your way of like the arm dropping and him kind of fading away. The way that I look at it is when someone fades like that, that means that their body has failed. Okay? When someone taps, John Cena, to me, when he tapped out, he acknowledged defeat. I want someone to acknowledge defeat. I feel like if John Cena passed out, you know, that distinction to me is everything. Cena's entire legacy is built on never giving up. So the only way to truly put Gunther over was to force Cena to make the one choice that he's never made before. That, to me, is the fucking story. That's the story. Why would you bypass that to go and, have him fade away or have the arms drop? It's the fucking acknowledgement that he's acknowledging defeat. That's the story. And then it correlates to the fans, in my opinion, that they could not emotionally disconnect from that moment in which he said, I give up. To me, that means everything, bro. To me, that is what makes Gunther's character now, moving on into whatever he does next, because he's going to be a retirement killer. To me, that's going to make everything for him until the next guy that is the next John Cena takes that from him. And I'm looking forward to that more than anything right now, because that's where my heart is in this. And that's why I feel like John Cena tapping out meant so much more to Gunther than a simple pass out.
Well, it meant more to you than a simple pass out. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who don't see it that way and see that there was a way to get Gunther to where you just said you want him to be, even if you did the finish in a different way. I think you could have had your cake and ate it too, where you got Gunther to where he needed to be and you put him over and gave him the rub and whatever. But also just give the fans a little something there at the very end instead of just stripping it all away. Because I think a lot of it honestly has to do with the fact that they were looking for something here at the end, something that they could at least be semi-happy about or satisfied with, because he spent half of his run with this terrible, heel run that he had. And then when he was a babyface, he spent most of the time losing to people and getting squashed by Brock Lesnar. And like all of these different things happened. And then at the very end of all of it, you just did the finish the way that you did it. One right after the other. People were looking for something. And I think you have to keep that in mind. You have to take that into consideration, that you do have people who are watching, who are very invested in this character and in this final match and in this retirement run. And, you've made a few missteps along the way. How do we do this finish in a way where we can get to where we need to be, but people can feel good about things when he has to walk out on the losing end of things at the end of the night? And I think there was a way to do that. And I would have preferred that if Gunther was going to win, that they do it that way. They did it a different way. It didn't hit with me emotionally in the same way that it did with you. I looked at it in a completely different way. And I said, well, I could see what they're going for, but it didn't translate well for me. That's not how I was left feeling when it was over.
That's completely understandable. I mean, you looked at it in a way because I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, after disappointment with this run, you wanted something a little bit better for him and the fan base that's been disappointed with this run that Triple H and WWE have booked for him over 36 days.
True, but here's the other thing, and this goes back to what I brought up before. I think I might have felt differently about the way they did that finish if they would have taken the time to tell a story with Gunther, even if it was a few months ago.
Yeah.
Talking about how I'm going to be the guy that sends John Cena on his way, and I'm going to do it by making him tap out. This all came about very suddenly in the last week or two before his final match. Cena was not even around. We had no interaction whatsoever between him and Gunther. We had a tournament that was put together to decide who's going to be his final opponent. Gunther wins, and then he does one promo on TV where he brings up this idea that not only am I going to beat John Cena, I'm going to make him give up. And this is like a week before the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe I would feel differently about it if they had taken the time over a period of weeks or even a few months to tell a better story on the show, to really build up to this moment. Or even some of Cena's other matches, maybe they would have had little teases or something. But like you said, so much of this run felt like it was just booked on the fly. It's almost like this retirement run was pieced together into a retirement run. It didn't really flow in one line. So I do think it's important to look back on the entirety of the run, because had they given some more care and thought to how this run was going to go and how the finishes of some of these other matches maybe leading up to this was going to go, that would have done a better job maybe of telling the story. And maybe I would have felt a little bit different about things.
No,
So the story element was not there.
Yeah.
It's there after the fact, people using every other fucking movie under the sun to try to argue why it was a great idea. But what would have moved me is if WWE, in the course of telling this retirement story for John Cena, if they would have taken better care to really build up to this moment in a more meaningful way. They didn't do that.
No, I agree. I agree with everything there. I mean, I even was stated saying that I would have moved the fucking tournament back a couple weeks and had the tournament finals take place at Survivor Series, so at least we get a moment between Gunther and John Cena if there was not going to be anything planned earlier in the year. But I do agree with that. Another reason why I feel so strongly about this, and Jason is looking out for the fans that may be disappointed in what happened, and the finality of John Cena's final moments in 23 years after the fucking dismal year that we got. I get everywhere that he's coming from. I'm more, and I've made this my persona on here. I mean, I am stories king, long-term booking. I appreciate a story more than I do the in-ring action, and I feel like a story makes everything better. I feel like the match should be secondary and the story should be first. Now, granted, we didn't get any story coming into this outside. I'm going to make you tap out. I'm going to make you give up and all this other nonsense. So WWE had to give you something. Otherwise, they would have given you nothing. And this was too big of a match to give you nothing. In my opinion, I can never look away from what they did with Gunther here and never embrace it. Even though most people think it's bad, I can never not embrace it, because if you look at the landscape of pro wrestling, how many genuine, top-level, believable, stand-on-their-fucking morals heel do we get in this business? I can't pinpoint one heel that is believable, that is towering over everybody else, that when he speaks, you believe it, and he lives up to every word that he says. The only other heel in this business right now, and he's taking a hiatus to go do his own thing, the only other heel in this business, to me, that has that level of heat is MJF. And even his star power has dwindled because he's not on television and the creative isn't there for him. So we have right now the makings of a top-level heel in the likes right now that we have not seen in many, many, many years. So to give Gunther that type of power when we've been desperately needing something like that, I look at that as a blessing, because when there's a heel at that level, there will always be a babyface that complements him, and a better heel like that is always going to make a match with a babyface that much better. I can never look away from that. So I'm looking at this as a positives moving forward. I just look at Gunther.
Well, they have to. They have no choice now. They better not drop the ball on this. You know, last night was only one night. He came out and he gloated and he left the building. So we're not even sure where his next direction is going to be.
Well, the thing is, do we trust AAA? I mean, after this year, I don't really trust. After this run, I don't trust. But I do. I've seen some people saying, JD, do you trust Jason? Do you trust Triple H to now take Gunther to the next level? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because Gunther has been largely protected, like we just talked about 15 minutes ago, by Triple H. I don't think he's going to drop the ball with Gunther. If I was a betting man, I'm going to bet in Triple H's ballpark there.
Well, because he's Triple H's guy.
Yeah.
So I think Triple H would do right by him more so than most people. So I think the chances are in his favor that he won't drop the ball and fuck this up. But what does that look like? You know, who is the next big opponent? What's the next big program for Gunther? Like heading into WrestleMania, we've talked about Gunther and Lesnar. And now you come off something like this and it almost doesn't feel, I don't feel as confident that really is the appropriate direction for him, you know, coming out of this match.
No, after last night, I mean, everybody got excited about what they teased last night.
Right. Well, but the question then is AJ wrestling a full year, or is AJ having his retirement match at WrestleMania? He said he's done after this year. We don't know what that means. We don't know what that means. That could be WrestleMania. That could be SummerSlam. So we don't know. And I love that match, and I'm sure we're going to get it. So if it's not him, then who would it be? Right? That's the only question. But whoever it is, every opponent from now on, this is what I said on my end. You did what you did. Now the onus is on Triple H to make sure that he takes full advantage of this. Gunther should be in that rarefied air that Brock Lesnar has been in for all these years, where he's different than everybody else. He's like an exception. Ever since he came back in 2012 out of the UFC world, he was different than everybody else. He was a special attraction on the show. And I'm not saying that to mean that Gunther should wrestle 5 times a year. But he has to be looked at and protected in a way that he wasn't before. This should elevate him now to a different stratosphere that he wasn't on before.
Maybe even with a reduced schedule to not wrestle as much as he has this year.
He doesn't have to wrestle as much, but I don't want him on a part-time schedule either, because that's the last thing we need are more part-timers in this company. But yes, protecting him in a way that even he wasn't being protected before. That's what he needs to do with him now. That's what will make him a special attraction. That's what will make him feel different than anybody else on the roster. I don't want him to feel the same way as the next heel, as Drew McIntyre or anybody else, right? That's what Triple H should be doing with Gunther now going forward. Don't squander what you did. You did it. Don't squander it. Take full advantage of it. And hopefully when this is all said and done and he loses to somebody, whoever that person is will benefit from it, right? That should be the idea behind it, whoever that person is.
There's two things I wanted to bring up before we get to some of the news and notes here about what Triple H said on the post show. I know a lot of people have mentioned they don't believe in Gunther. They don't like the outcome because of what happened at WrestleMania. Jey Uso tapped him out to his own move, and then I got to believe Gunther tapping out John Cena with that move in the way that he tapped him out on Saturday night's main event. Do you correlate what Triple H did with Jey Uso and putting Gunther in the ring with Pat McAfee and having Pat McAfee go 14 minutes with Gunther? Do you look at that as a blemish on what happened on Saturday? Because I tried to make sense of it, and I can't. And all I could really pinpoint to is I hope Triple H has learned his lesson now, because he cannot be careless with Gunther going into 26 like he has. He used Gunther to get over guys like that and rub elbows with his celebrity friends. I don't think we're going to see that next year. But do you think all those creative decisions kind of lessen the impact of Gunther tapping out John Cena?
I mean, it did, but now coming out of it, I don't think people are thinking about the match with Pat McAfee. I don't think people are thinking about, well, I guess some of them are, because he was being showered with chants of "you tapped out" last night. So that is something I don't think he'll ever live down, is him tapping out, and as quickly as he did. It wasn't just that he tapped out, it was how quickly he tapped out to Jey Uso
we both
at
hated
WrestleMania.
we both hated the Jey Uso Gunther ending at WrestleMania anyway. I thought that was more impactful if they did Jey Uso super kick and a spear and then a big splash and a visual pin. A tap out there really kind of, to me, took away from the moment.
I thought it was a missed opportunity for him last night. I mean, I guess they had a plan for what he was going to say, but when the people started chanting "you tapped out" at him last night, I would have just had him lift the microphone and go, "Yeah, but so did he." I was like, "Oh, what a missed opportunity." But all that stuff it's in the rear view now. Like, again, it's like BCAD, right? That's in the past. This is the present. And it's all about how they position him and how they book him going forward in 2026. All that stuff doesn't matter now. You know, there were definitely things they did with him that I won't say hurt him, but it sort of, I think, diminished him maybe a little bit in the eyes of some people. But it's old news now. He's like a new man now. So all that matters is what happens from this day going forward with him. That's the most important thing.
How would you, or how could they, WWE and Triple H, how could they have made John Cena's final match as epic and more memorable than they did going into Saturday night? Do you look at the fact that he won the world championship at WrestleMania to be a mistake?
Yes.
And would you? Me too.
Well,
would you rather have them waited on that to potentially have him maybe win it at SummerSlam, or maybe win it in his final match, maybe take it from SummerSlam and defend it in his final match, and then give you that unpredictability? Is he going to walk away with it, or is he going to drop it to somebody else? How would you have booked it to make it feel a little bit more special?
How would I have booked it? I would have booked it very differently than they booked it. One thing I would not have done is I would not have turned him heel. That's number one. Because that was just never going to work. Like, looking back at it, if we're being honest with ourselves, turning John Cena when he had mere months left in his career was never going to work. All people wanted to do when they paid all this fucking TKO money they're paying is get one last chance to come see John Cena live and in person and cheer for him before he rode off into the sunset. So he should have turned heel 12 years ago, 13 years ago. That's on Vince McMahon. They didn't do it. That should have been left in the rear view. So I wouldn't have done that. What I would have done is I would have built up to the whole story. The whole story should have been 17. Because he knew, just like winning the Intercontinental title was important, apparently, to so many fans, they wanted to see him win the Grand Slam. Even if those types of accomplishments don't mean as much to John Cena as they do to the fans, it did mean something to a lot of people. So the story should have been about 17. They completely fucked the entire story of him winning 17 with that heel turn. They could not have handled that any more poor than they did. He won number 17 in one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. It will be remembered for everything except him winning number 17. So that will forever be a stain on this retirement run. You could have done it at WrestleMania. I think you could have, honestly, there was a story there to build it up to SummerSlam. going back to when he had that horrific losing streak where he hadn't won a singles match in like 6 years. And they did nothing with that, by the way. Totally squandered that. You could have played that story out for a few months. He gets that win at WrestleMania and then build to number 17 at SummerSlam in New Jersey from there. So we could sit here all fucking night long and come up with better ways to do this and that and armchair quarterback. At this point, it's kind of pointless. You know, we know they made mistakes. And John Cena knows they made mistakes. But he's too good to admit that and throw people under the bus publicly. That's why when Chris Van Vliet asked him about that last week, what were The Rock and Travis Scott's role in this heel turn? Who cares? Nobody cares. A lot of people care. But he's too good to start throwing people under the bus because it doesn't serve any purpose. So, unfortunately, though, that number 17 story should have been like the key story that things were built around. I would not have had him go into his final match winning the championship. I would not have had him go into his final match defending the championship because to me, it just makes it too
predictable,
obvious. Yeah, it makes it too predictable and too obvious. I mean, if you were going to get the title, I guess it depends on who the title would be going to, but I don't like the idea of the title being involved when it comes to his final match. And I was happy they had him drop it to Dominic, the IC title, because that would have been even worse. And what the hell does Gunther need that for? So no, I would not have had the championship have anything to do with his final match.
Well, WWE apparently, after all this, was blindsided by negative reaction. Meltzer said on The Observer that the company did not anticipate the level of hostility directed towards the creative direction. While WWE often expects some level of heat for controversial decisions, the report suggests the backlash exceeded their internal projections. Meltzer says the one thing I can say is that even though they may say something different publicly, they were blindsided by the reaction. The idea that we did it, we knew it was going to get heat. It just is the price we pay. When they're all chanting and he's going, oh, I thought it would be louder. That was a defense mechanism. I thought there was no discussion of a reaction, or I was told there was no discussion of a reaction. Do you think they were blindsided? Do you think they actually give a shit that the reaction was the way that the reaction was, WWE?
I mean, clearly they don't. You know, they do what they want to do. I mean, the fact that they were blindsided by the reaction is just, if that's true, is just shocking to me. Maybe it shouldn't be. And clearly, you know, when he said that, that was kind of my sense of it too. Like he was kind of overwhelmed by all the people chanting behind him and chanting all this stuff. And I mean, I know he was a heel for most of his career, so people booing him is something he's used to. But if they truly were caught off guard by the intensity of it, then he probably was, you know, throwing out those comments just to kind of cope with it.
Yeah, he actually said, I'm mildly disappointed with the reactions. I thought it would be louder. Then he goes on to say, there are time-honored traditions in our business. That is a way that you handle your business agenda. John has said the right thing his entire career. That is about leaving this place better than you found it. But you do what is right for the business. You do what is right for this industry. John has done that his entire career, and I'm going to do that my entire career. I will do what I believe is right for business. And then he goes on to say that I've got big shoulders. People will talk about this moment right here. I'm good with it, he says.
Well, good. I'm glad he's good with it. I'm happy for him.
He's good with it.
He's good with it. Yeah, no, he's good with it. Yeah.
It was his idea. You said something that was said at the post show that I may not have here. What was actually said that you were disappointed by?
At the
you said something. You said something minutes ago that you said that you had heard at the end of this whole fiasco that you wanted to talk about, or maybe that was it. I don't know. Something was said somewhere.
Oh no. He made a comment in the post show on Saturday, and he specifically was talking, I think, about Raw coming up on Monday, that it was going to be the start of a new era. And this is something I addressed on my Raw review last night, where new eras are to Triple H as big announcements are to Tony Khan. And Tony has actually gotten better with it. Triple H is actually worse now with this new era stuff, because I feel like I've heard some variation of new era multiple times this year. Yes. And even in just the last few weeks, I believe it was the Raw coming out of Saturday night's main event at the beginning of November, where he made a comment about how there's a new landscape, where the landscape has changed, right? So he tried to come up with a different word. He went to his thesaurus to try to find a different word so he didn't have to say new era. But then just like 10 days ago, 11 days ago, It was before SmackDown. He made a similar comment. It might have been a tweet or whatever. I don't remember. Where he mentioned a new era, and so apparently last night was supposed to be the start of a new era, and it's to the point of like absurdity now. Like we know that in the history of WWE, right? There's the golden era, and there's the new generation era. There's the attitude era. There's the ruthless aggression era. And somebody on Reddit, and I put the picture up on my stream last night, they put like an illustration, like a chart of the different eras and like these giant blocks. And then you get to like 2020 or 2021, and it's like a bunch of little lines. Like in the last like 4 or 5 years, we've had like 10 different eras. And I can't even keep track of all the new eras that we've had. So he's got to stop.
What are we doing? We're in the Paul Levesque era. We're in the cinema era,
this
right?
whole thing is the Paul Levesque era. This whole thing is his face is plastered on everything. So this is we are living in the Paul Levesque era, I guess is what you would call it. What else would you call it? There's a new era every other week, dude.
Well, he also, the most incriminating one to me is the fact that he said the road to WrestleMania begins on January 6th this year, Netflix debut. And what did we get? We get The Rock coming out as Dwayne, glazing Cody, saying that he's proud of his champion, and then we get nothing for the rest of the fucking show. I'm like, and then we get Rock and Cody drinking tequila backstage, pretending like Bad Blood never happened. And then the Raw after Mania never happened. And I'm like, how is this the road to WrestleMania? The start of road to WrestleMania? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't believe him from that moment. He was full of shit.
Yeah. Well, that's when The Rock went on NXT and told you to shut your mouth and enjoy the ride that The Rock is taking.
Yeah, well, he says he's 21 steps ahead of everybody else. So whatever. Sure. You were 21 fucking tequilas.
All that tequila, he should be in a 21-step program. Jesus.
Anyway, before we get to these super chats, we didn't go over Raw. There really wasn't much that happened on Raw outside of the Gunther opening segment, CM Punk's great promo on Braun Breaker, mentioning the Steiner family, and Austin Theory. Quick thoughts, Jason, before we get to the super chats on Austin Theory finally revealing himself as the masked man in the Vision.
I had a scare because as he was picking his head up, I thought it was Daniel Garcia there for a second. I was like, wait a minute. And then I saw, oh, okay, it's Austin Theory. And the crowd goes mild.
Yep.
Because he hasn't been around for a minute. And the last time we saw him, he was in a mid-card comedy team with Grayson Waller. So this is a fresh start for him. We've known that, Meltzer reported this months ago that he was supposed to join the Vision. He was probably going to be in the War Games match. Seth's injury fucked all that up, so it just delayed things a little bit. The only surprise to me was that they didn't wait until January 5th to do the reveal. And so here's my thought on that. Just because we got a reveal last night doesn't mean there won't be another reveal. So I still think there's a chance there could be another mystery man potentially. And then there was somebody who asked me about this last night, and they floated this idea, and I'm not totally sold on it, but
I think it's the same idea that was floated in my chat too. Go ahead.
About Rollins.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's an intriguing idea where, because he didn't join the Vision last night.
No.
He was in the crowd and standing there on the steps. So we don't know what his status is. Paul Heyman is of the impression that, I didn't know who the mystery man was, but if he's on our side, great. So is it actually a case where Austin Theory is not here to join the Vision, but he's been sent on behalf of Seth Rollins to, fuck over Braun Breaker when he challenges for the World Championship on January 5th? I can't rule it out, although he did help them win War Games. So, that would be pretty stupid, but it's possible. We're not going to see Rollins, at least not physically active, for many more months. So unless they're playing the long game with that, I don't see it being that. But I'm not sure that we're done necessarily. Who says that he's the only mystery man, right? There could be somebody else who shows up on January 5th. So we'll see. But for Theory, to me, this is it. This is sink or swim. This either works, or I think his career in this company is done, because he is going to have the opportunity here to work with the top heels, the top stars on the brand, wherever he ends up aligning with. And I think they'll give him an opportunity to get over, and hopefully it'll work out for him. But if this doesn't work, there's no other place for him to go. You know what I mean? He was positioned, he was Vince's guy, and Vince obviously loved him. And he was maybe a victim of that power shift in the company. Triple H was obviously not a huge Austin Theory guy because he's been middling around for 3 years. And they squandered a WrestleMania win that he got over John Cena. Even before that, he cashed in Money in the Bank for the U.S. title and fucking lost.
That was all Triple H?
Well, that was 2022. So every step of the way, and then the team with Waller was just, nothing doing there. So this is it. It's do or die for him. I hope it works out. He's a talented guy. As a wrestler, I think he's a good wrestler. He's got a good look.
He's been hindered by creative, though. Most of his downfalls is creative, yeah.
Mostly, but I still feel like there's, like, if he was just on his own, I just feel like that connection is still not there. You still got to bring it out of him, or he's got to bring it out of himself. He'll get the chance, hopefully, now to do it, and I hope it works out. Because he's been dicked around now for the last few years, and it's got nothing to show for it except a shaved head. All the hair is gone.
Well, listen, remember, Paul Heyman was an executive director of Monday Night Raw during the pandemic era while they were operating out of the Performance Center, and Austin Theory was one of his 6 top guys that he wanted to showcase on the show, and Vince said no. So Paul Heyman was removed. Bruce took over. Seth Rollins also enlisted Austin Theory as one of his disciples. So he has history with both Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. So it is an intriguing addition to the story for sure. So I don't think Triple H is that creative to tell a story where he's actually working for Rollins on the outside and kind of like a sleeper cell for the Vision on the inside. I don't think he's that creative and that adventurous, honestly.
Well, but again, it doesn't, whether he is or not, if Rollins has said he's not, unless Rollins may not be the most trustworthy source on these things, but he has claimed that he's not even going to start like rehab or training to get back in shape until like February. So he's hoping for an April return in time for WrestleMania. If that's true, they'd have to drag this thing out for a while before we get the big reveal that he's aligned with Rollins. I just don't think that works.
We'll see. Hopefully we get some sort of explanation. Raw's being taped from Grand Rapids, Michigan on Friday, so hopefully Austin Theory is included on that to tell us why he is hanging around the Vision lately. So that is your episode 125. If we brought the fire tonight for episode 125, can you please leave me a fire emoji in the chat if you enjoyed our discussion? Remember, it was never about who wins out over who or trying to convince who's right and wrong. It was about a discussion on why we feel the way that we do, and that's honestly the reason why this show was created with Baydala. This is exactly the type of content that we wanted, so I feel like for the first time in a long time, we actually brought the discussion tonight and the ESPN-like banter to TNT. So if you guys enjoyed it, please leave a fire emoji in the chat. I would really appreciate it. I thought we both had some excellent and solid points. And we will see what WWE does with Gunther, but I do trust Gunther is in good hands with Triple H. So we will see what happens.
Interesting. Apparently on, and I haven't seen the video myself, but on NXT tonight, there was an accidental title change, apparently.
An accidental title change?
Apparently there was a match, and Blake Monroe lost her NXT Women's Championship to Thea Hale and was not supposed to. May have gotten the wind knocked out of her, didn't kick out on a move.
Get out of here.
And Corey Hayes of Bodyslam.net says they got about 24 hours to figure out what to do with the title situation because they're taping the next 2 episodes tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's always something that happens down there that's a little, stunad. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but listen, Thea Hill's been down there for quite a while, so I'm assuming people are okay with that decision. But
yeah, but if she wasn't supposed to win the championship and they had plans for Blake Monroe,
the fans are okay with it.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see their reaction. They were probably happy for her. Is she a babyface or a heel right now?
She's a babyface.
Okay.
She was teaming with Joe Hendry.
Right. Okay. So they might be happy with it, but they were happy about Tatum Paxley too, and she didn't have her title for very long.
No. Yes, Gunther is in good hands with Triple H. JD 2025. Yes, I do believe that. We'll see what happens in 26. But we're going to get into your super chats right now. Appreciate you guys very much for hanging out. We had 3,100 people in here, and we have eclipsed 1,000 likes. We're on our way to 1,100 likes. Thank you guys very much for that. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's discussion. Follow us on social media at JD from NY206. That's Solid Monster. That is on X. And if you guys want to go find Jason on YouTube, you guys know where to find him. Everything you need is linked down below in the description. Start at the top here. Hardy Punk, Steel Cage 09 with a 10 months. Triple H boos stood symbolically for TKO greed. Safe and stale booking for Dwayne and every other person who disrupted the authentic way of storytelling. Listen, Triple H deserves a lot of grief and a lot of blowback for what he's done this year. And if the fans want to boo him, they have every right to do so. I just took the stance that I'm not going to sit here and place total blame on Triple H for Saturday and the way things ended. I genuinely believe that he is at least a decent fucking person and went to John and said to John, hey man, how do you want to go out tonight? John said what he wanted. Triple H agreed to it. They made it happen. And that's the way that I feel like at least a topic of it was at least talked about. So, Michael Krause with it too. JD versus Jason Cena debate. OTS. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. LA Knight, by the way, medically disqualified. He's got a cracked sternum.
Cracked sternum and other injuries.
He's gonna be out for a while. Merry
Happy
Christmas,
New Year.
LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Boss Mo Jackson with the $4.99. I'm turning 43 Friday. Another year in the books. Hope Theory rebounds in the new year, but I have low expectations. I expect much of the same. Listen, man, that Raw in Brooklyn on January 5th is shaping up to be a good show. Hopefully they deliver something, but I'm not holding my breath because they said that about this year's Raw debut on Netflix, and I'm not really falling for it again.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. 43 years old. Same age as me. We got Arya with a 5. I urge Harley Cameron, you mean. Not Haley, Harley.
Is her twin sister, maybe?
Yeah. Willow to join WWE and join Blake Monroe, your future NXT Women's Champion, as the new toxic attraction. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Willow just signed a new deal with AEW just recently.
Yeah, Willow, it was like a long-term deal, too, like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she very much wanted to stay. She's happy, and that's all that matters there. Zach with a $4.99. They started the invasion angle 5 months later than they did, and the NWO came in with Bischoff. Do you think it would have been a success then? Says Zach.
You know what? I think that it might have gone a little bit longer. I still think you get to the same place. I think Scott Hall probably ends up getting fired, and I think the fans end up cheering Hogan so much that Vince gets, his eyes get wide and he turns him back babyface not too long after. So now if they populated the NWO with other people, which they tried to do and then they abandoned it, with Bischoff there, I think it might have gone longer than it did.
Michelle with a 5. Cena passed the torch to 2 people before he retired. Gunther as the most hated villain at Saturday Night's Main Event, and Cody is the next Cena at SummerSlam. OTS for life. Cody is this era's version of Cena. He will never be Cena, but he's very good at what he does. And Gunther, listen, I love a good villain, man. I do. And I think Gunther has got the makings of a great villain. He's got that smug look, that fucking music, that entrance, that vibe. I think whatever he's going to do, I think, someone in the chat said Ibu is reporting that it's going to be Lesnar and Gunther. I would go Styles, Gunther. I'd get that out of the way if Styles is really retiring. But like Jason said, we don't know when Styles is retiring, so it could be the whole year. We don't know. So I do think he ends up retiring Styles. Lesnar, if that's true. But I also said, Jason, if Lesnar is going to retire like Cena had alluded to with that Van Vliet interview, then we get Mania in Saudi next year. Do you see Lesnar missing a Saudi Mania and the Saudis not wanting Lesnar there? Like, I don't see that to be a possibility.
I would imagine they're not going to be too happy if all these people are retiring before we get there.
No.
So
So that could play into it, yeah.
If they get Dwayne, they may be, happy enough to do Dwayne and Roman on that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to. It's just I don't know. It's hard to envision that he wouldn't be a part of that.
But yeah, like we talked about, he's gonna have to be largely protected. AJ, Lesnar, Randy Orton when his time comes, even Jericho maybe. Who knows? But yes, slim pickings there for the retirement. So they're going to have to choose their battles wisely there.
But see, at that point, though, everyone loves to talk about giving the rub to someone and all this. Like, by the third or fourth person, who's really gaining from this? Like, why would you just keep having him be the one to retire these people and not give somebody else the rub?
I guess it's going to be.
It's
going to be more like when Undertaker accumulated all those souls, and then Lesnar took that and went on the run that he went on. I think it's going to be like a transfer of power in that sense.
I have no problem with him if he's the one who retires AJ, and I think they could have a really good match. Someone like Lesnar, though, doesn't need to be retired by Gunther. Like, I would much rather see him go down to like a Braun Breaker.
Sure. Or an Obafemi.
Sure.
We'll see. All I know is he can't lose a fucking match next year if they want to keep that whatever they did on Saturday alive. So I think he's going to go undefeated next year. Base Beers with it too. It's going down tonight. 2 boxing glove emojis and a microphone emoji. Well, hopefully you enjoyed it, brother. Drew Gilmore with 40 months. Hey guys, thanks for the kind words a couple of weeks ago. All is well with my lady, and we couldn't be stronger. Hashtag 40-month member. Thank you, Drew. Hope you are well, brother. Mar Trunks with a Chilean pesos, 2,500 in Chilean pesos super chat. Hey there, JD and Solo. I stopped watching wrestling after Lesnar returned, but never missed a stream since. Question for JD: favorite Mammoth song? That's Wolfgang Van Halen's band. Anything off the new album, brother. I think the opening track is my favorite off the new album. It's a great song, great album too. Probably my favorite album of the year, until Alter Bridge comes out January 9th. Shinamtra with a super chat leaves 4 fire emojis. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. Boss Mo Jackson with the 199. You have 24 hours with unlimited money. What would you do? What do you do with unlimited funds, bro?
I don't know if I want to say publicly what I would do.
How about move out of where you are now and get a beautiful new home?
He said 24 hours.
You can't go find a home in 24 hours?
I would waste most of those 24 hours to go find a new home. By the time I moved in, I'd be dead.
All right, go buy yourself a nice car.
Sure. Well, I don't. I mean, if I had 24 hours, I would just probably jack one and just drive it around. Was the question like you have 24 hours to live, or you only have 24 hours?
You have 24 hours with unlimited money. Just a 24-hour period with unlimited money. What do you do?
I see. Okay. All right. See, I thought 24 hours left to live or something.
No.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah, of course I would,
Cake in the chat, by the way, is asking, Gunther versus Roman next year, you think that's going to happen?
To retire him or just
as a match. I can't see Roman retiring yet.
Sure, if Gunther wins.
There you go, Cake. I agree there. Michelle with a 5. Looking back, was Seth's coast-to-coast headbutt a reckless move considering all the plans that would change? And who does Punk feud with after Breaker?
Yes.
Yes, I agree. Again, I don't know why. We're seeing more and more people do coast-to-coasts. Don't know why. Leon Slater, I think, did one recently. Kevin Knight did one. Seth Rollins, I don't know why at 38 years old, why he's doing a coast-to-coast.
Coast-to-coast is one thing, but what did him in was that he did a coast-to-coast headbutt.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing a coast-to-coast like drop kick where he lands like flat back. He landed right on his arm, on his shoulder. And hey, I don't think he's ever done that before.
No.
So I don't know what possessed him to try it.
Just the heat of the moment against Cody. I don't know.
I guess so.
39 months, Sidro. Thank you, brother. Fired janitor for smoking pot. Can't stand high maintenance people. And teacher asks, how I view lesbian relationships in full HD was the wrong answer. All right, not off to the best of starts there, Sidra. Appreciate you, brother. Also with a $10 super chat. Do you know why men are such good cooks? Because with 2 eggs and 1 sausage, they can fill up a belly for 9 months. Okay. When she texts you if she looks fat and you reply no, but it auto-corrects to moo. Don't get me started there, bro.
Why would it autocorrect to moo?
Well, he spelled no, N-O-O, with 2 O's. So then it autocorrects to moo, M-O-O.
I see. I thought he was going to go with the Al Bundy joke from Married with Children where, the woman in the shoe store was like, does this dress make me look fat? He goes, no, it's not the dress that makes you look fat. It's the fat that makes you look fat. And I was like, oh, man. It's just like...
Yeah, yes.
It's just... You can't get away with it.
That would never fly in 2025.
But the thing about the jokes on that show, though, all like the jokes about the heavy women and everything, apparently most of them were written by female comedians. or like overweight female comedians that would be on the show. Like you would see them being insulted in the segment, and many of them were comedians who wrote the jokes.
Well, listen, man. The women were fat. What do you want to say? What do you want Al Bundy to say? They were
No,
fucking,
that's what you would expect him to say.
They were grossly fucking overweight. What would you want me to say?
I'm saying that's what you would expect his character to say. He couldn't say it any other way. So
People just don't have a sense of humor. If it's written by women, right? About other women. I don't know. I think that's fantastic. I think it's great.
No, I'm saying that's what most people didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like who was writing the jokes. The women in the segments that you would see who would be on the receiving end of like these lines apparently were the ones writing it. So it was like you wouldn't expect it, but apparently that was the case.
That's great. We got Kaplinger with a $4.99. I heard Solomonster is so strong they call him Swole Solomonster in the streets.
That's true. That's true. I guess I don't know what they're saying about me in the streets, but hopefully it's something good. I hope.
Sidro with a 5. Why do snakes make good comedians? Because they are hysterical. And don't blame others for the road you're on. It's your own asphalt. That guy Jaeger with a $5 super chat. I 1,000% agree with JD. Cena tapping out was the correct decision. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Thank you, Jaeger. Not about who's right and who's wrong, man. You guys can agree and disagree. We both have our reasons. That's it. Base Beers with it too. I'm excited to see Gunther's character development. Sure, he's going to become more of a prick if you consider that character development. Sure. Boss Mo Jackson with the $1.99. True or false? Mercedes Moné is overrated. That is false.
False.
Justin Toner with a $5 super chat. It's official. Leon Slater versus Obafemi for the NXT title at New Year's Evil. Also, Thea Hale beat Blake Monroe for the North American title due to a botched pin. Yeah, we just found that out about 5 minutes ago. I may tune in for that Slater Obafemi match. That should be great. Cody Moore with a $4.99. Would have loved if Cena took off his Never Give Up wristband and passed out with it in his hand over tapping. Great visual. Well, now you're really just getting into the fucking cinematics of it, right? That would have been a little too much. Arvin with a super chat. Hey, JD and Solo, I'd love to hear your thoughts on WWE early 2010s. If it's good or bad. I missed most of it due to school. Just new to super chat. No idea how to change currency. My super chat is around $8.50 American.
A lot of it was bad,
Yeah.
but we did get the CM Punk John Cena feud,
Which was
one of the saving graces.
My top feud for John Cena his entire career, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, that's his greatest rival.
Yeah.
So it's him and then Edge. So yeah, not a lot of great stuff during that period, although it did yield. I mean, I guess as the 2010s went on, we got the Yes Movement and the stuff with Daniel Bryan. So well, it wasn't all bad, but definitely not one of my favorite eras of WWE, and one where a lot of fans dropped off.
Yep. Arvin, thank you for being here, brother. Hopefully it's not the last. Appreciate you. Caden with a $1.99. Kendall Gray needs to win at New Year's Evil. Listen, I think... Yeah, I know you said that last week too. Listen, I mean, I take the chance. Move JC up to SmackDown and just give the title to Kendall.
There are other women who could be moved up right now, and I think you can still push the Kendall win off to Stand and Deliver, and then you can call all of Fatal Influence up if you want to.
Sure. Base Bears with a 2. When are you guys going to start fighting? Hopefully never.
I think he meant in the review. I think he was waiting. He was waiting for the Saturday night's main event.
Okay, there you go. He also says Saturday night's main event was a night meant for celebration, and they fucked up. Yeah, I mean, listen, I could see that being the reason why people are upset for sure.
Not a whole lot to celebrate.
No. Arvin with a super chat. Funny how when Cena announced his retirement at Money in the Bank 2024, JD said WWE can move on without him. Now it feels like the total opposite. Love your show. Well, they're going to have to move on without him. I feel like, and this is again a tinfoil hat conspiracy. I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like WWE coasted off the back of John Cena because they knew they had John Cena, and now I think they genuinely need to get back to doing what they did going into Cody's title win at WrestleMania against Roman. They need to tell some stories that are going to keep people interested week to week. They knew they had John Cena for the amount of dates that they had. We're going to be sellouts. People wanted to see John Cena. Now they don't have him, so I'm gonna be very curious to see how WWE's back is against the wall now without John Cena. How you feel? How you feel like WWE's going to be without him? You think they're going to?
I think they're going to move right on to the next retirement tour. I mean, they got a whole bunch of people who apparently are going to have their retirement next year. So, yeah, of course they have to tell good stories. They have to get new people over. That's the bigger thing.
Yeah,
we really need. He talks about a new era. We need a new era. It doesn't feel like that yet, but it feels like maybe they're taking steps to get there. We saw some of those faces on Saturday. Though some of those faces should be a part of that new era. That's what 2026 needs to be, because people like John Cena are not going to be around for much longer, right? Yeah. AJ, Jericho, Lesnar.
Yep.
These people are falling off. I mean, their bodies can only take so much, and when they leave, who is taking their place? Roman is part-time at best, and Cody, how many years does he have left? Like, you can't just rely on the 40-year-old guard to carry you through another year. You've got to get new stars over. That's what it comes down to.
Randy Orton too. Hopefully we see him back around. I know he's in Saudi doing promotion for the Rumble and for the whole Saudi narrative over there. But the reason why he wasn't on Saturday Night's Main Event is because he was over there. Big time difference. But he did say that he texted John Cena the morning of his retirement. So they did speak. He just wasn't visible on TV. Base Beers with it too. I hated Super Cena back then, but not on Saturday. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Super Cena, and a lot of my, I guess, kind of my passive attitude towards the never give up and the fucking C Nation and Cena. I was never the biggest Cena guy, so I didn't have this emotional connection to John Cena like everybody else had. So that's where my point of view comes from too, in this I don't really give a shit type of attitude about the kids and the never give up attitude. But I also feel like, and this is just
fuck them kids. Is that your slogan?
Yeah, fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids.
What I also feel, and I said this last night, what is popular, I always kind of tend to go into my own direction. When the majority of people like something, I tend to kind of remove myself from that. I like to be different. Comes with everything that I do. So the fact that more people liked it made me actually dislike it more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but there's also being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian, which is never a good thing. Like, you have to honestly, and in your case, I think you do, but other people, if they're just being different, oh, well, everybody else has this opinion, so I have to be different than everybody else. Well, if you honestly feel that way, then go for it. But if you don't, then that's bullshit. You shouldn't just be different or take a different point of view from everybody else because it's the cool thing to do and you just want to be different.
Yeah.
That's nonsense. You either feel however you feel, you have to be genuine in how you feel. Otherwise, people are going to see right through it.
Yeah. At least I gave you guys a reason as to why I believe what I believe. So I wasn't just one of those people that everybody likes it, I hate it, with no reason. A lot of people didn't give you an explanation, but hopefully you guys understood where I was coming from and where Jason was coming from. Kill Switch Red with a $5 super chat. Simply put, Cena should have passed out or have been pinned to lose, not tap out after struggling so much. It's like he was laughing at us on his way out. I don't think he was laughing at you. I don't think he was laughing at you. I think genuinely...
Again, to go from the struggle and the struggle and the struggle and people literally chanting, don't tap out, like Super Cena and all this other stuff, and then to do it in the way that they did it, that's why you got the reactions from all those people. They're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what?
Yeah.
That was the issue.
$2 super chat, base beer, solo, JD, My Way promo.
Still the best promo they ever did. Going into WrestleMania 17.
They have a new album. They have a new album coming out, by the way. Limp Bizkit, new single. It is not good, from what I heard.
Is it like when Metallica came out with Saint Anger?
I don't know. There's like a revival of these like high school era bands that I used to listen to. Korn,
metal.
New metal. Yeah, it's like Deftones came out with a new album. Everybody loves it. Slipknot's coming out with a new album. Limp Bizkit's coming out with a new album. I don't know if those bands can hit in 2020. It's going to be interesting to see. Lord Gasmic with a 5. For me, the difference between Obi-Wan and Cena is that Darth Vader didn't tap out to J.J. Binks before killing a Jedi Master like Obi-Wan.
Well, if Triple H was booking it, he might have.
Don't tell that to Bully Ray, man. He used that, it ran with that narrative. David Rice with a 20. Thank you, brother. If you need proof that the way Cena went out was perfect, Exhibit A. Gunther needing a police escort out of the arena. Exhibit B, the nuclear heat that Gunther had on Raw 2 days later. I love the escort. That's just fans, again, thinking with their emotions. I think that's great for the business. The nuclear heat, to me, it was fine. It wasn't like Roman Reigns level, but you can't really expect Roman Reigns level because it's in the middle of December in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and they just had to sit through a 2-hour SmackDown. So we're lucky that we got what we got on Monday with Gunther, but I do think that he's going to continue to get nuclear heat because he's a consummate professional. He knows what he's doing. Leopoldo, $2 super chat. Tell it, Dilbert. He's calling you Dilbert with the Lisa glasses emoji.
Oh, I'm Dilbert now?
Yep. Bosmo Jackson, 199. Professor Solo calling out JD, too funny. I love you guys. Horatio with a 5. On the smile and tap out, Cena, the man, is saying goodbye to John Cena, the character. Thought that was great. Listen, that people have the great thing about this is people have a lot of different interpretations about what they saw in that smile. I think that it's in itself is just really a great topical discussion. Lord Gasmic with a $20 super chat. I think the crowd response wasn't just the tap. It was everything to do with Cena. Heel turn, having no plan, Mania 41 ending, Ron Killens, no story with Brock, AJ, or Gunther, Cena wanting 200 days, but Triple H saying, nah, he's 36. Yeah, I don't know how many of the people there knew exactly all the inner workings of what went wrong all year. I know we do, and we talk about it weekly because this is what we do, but...
No, but they watch the product. I mean, they know.
Yeah.
They know enough.
Listen, if that's the reason, they have every right to boo. It was very disappointing. Very disappointing. And, people should be more disappointed at Cena because he was the one who told Chris Van Vliet, what does it matter? Who cares? I don't care. Like, if he didn't care, then obviously he didn't care about the way he went out and people's reactions to it. Base Beers with a 2. Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord. Bossmo Jackson with a 199. I want TNT on a larger platform. This show is gold. Thank you, Bossmo Jackson. Street Fighter with a 2. Cena tapping is like Batman using a gun on the Joker.
Yeah. Batman was going to go around murdering people.
I like that analogy. Spencer Morgan with the 36 months. I'm about to start paying more attention to AEW for the great pay-per-views they put on. Neither company has great stories by AEW, but AEW has great pay-per-views. Just be wary, Spencer. You're going to be in for a very long evening when you do. Minimum 6 hours. Basic with the 33 months. Screw that. Cena is done. All hail Gunther. Again, listen. Gunther's got his fan base. We appreciate a good heel. Spencer Morgan with a 5. If it's forever guaranteed that a retiring wrestler must lose their final match, then it's not the point in watching the final match. You know the outcome. Yeah, listen. People have traditions. Okay, you make the traditions what you want to make the traditions. Sting wanted to lose on his way out. Tony Khan wanted Sting to win because Tony Khan felt like he would be paying respect to Sting over what he's done, and he wanted to say thank you. That was his way of saying thank you. Tony has the right to book the show the way he wants because he's the fucking boss. But I feel like, Jason, I said this last night, a lot of the old guard still exists, so they're going to rest on the laurels of the traditions that they were grown up with and raised with. The new generation, when the old guard retires and leaves, they're going to set the boundaries for what they think their traditions should be. So we may see a whole new set of traditions. So, I mean, it just happens to be different from generation to generation. So, I mean, it's a very subjective thing. Basic with a 499. Gunther made Cena tap. Your king is dead. He's no more. Luis Lopez with a 5. Cena tapping out wasn't just a bad finish. It was a character assassination. Never Give Up was the brand, the merch, and the message. Baltimore Jackson with the 499. You both are right about Cena. Great job, fellas. I had to pause watching Flintstones to hear this convo. I was glued to my phone. TNT is awesome. Two thumbs up emoji. David Rice. Thank you, Baltimore Jackson. David Rice with a 10. I made Cena give up. That shirt has more heat than I beat John Cena. Yeah, listen, if I'm Gunther, I'm kind of leveling into that narrative. Like, I'm wearing shirts. I'm mentioning it every week. Like, Heyman mentioned The Undertaker losing that WrestleMania. It's a Lesnar. I'm the 1-21-1. Like, you need to hammer that home. $2 Super Chat. JD is a Sith Lord. Am I? Archer with a 5. Solid Monster. Nobody remembers Bret Hart beat Stone Cold because he didn't. Everybody will remember Gunther tapped out Cena. Don't get him started, Archer.
Yeah, you're not going to win. So. Stand down.
Spencer with a 2. JD, I think you're a Bret screwed Bret type of guy.
Yeah, he is. He said he's a heel.
No, I actually sided with Bret on that. I'm not a Bret screwed Bret guy. Everyone crapped on the ending of WrestleMania 39 when Cody lost. Gave way to the most emotional moment in pro wrestling history in the last 10 years when he won at 40. Let Triple H cook, says David Rice. God. Let him cook, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Let him cook and give you all food poisoning.
Thank you, David.
You're shitting for a week.
Stars, 3322 of the 499. Gunther slayed Cena. He better have a Brock Lesnar type run when he beat the streak for the ultimate payoff. I don't trust Triple H to do so. I am with Solid Monster.
Well, we better hope that he does. Because the deed is done.
Yep.
And look, I want to see Gunther succeed. Like I said, I'm a Gunther guy. So I want him to be, you mentioned Lesnar. I want him to be on that same level that people looked at Brock. And probably still do. But, like, that's where he needs to be. If he can do that, great. He'll parlay this into a big success.
I know we have... It's not showing here. Oh, there it is. I want to read this one out because this came in while we were debating Cena and Gunther. Alex screams at muffins. And I got to get the round of applause here because $100 super chat. Thank you, Alex. I believe the issue with Cena Gunther ending is that WWE fans have been conditioned to see legends always go over the younger guys. This is traditional pro wrestling, and I love it. I side with JD. Listen, traditions, to me, I love a good tradition. But if the tradition is to be broken to give way to something like this, I like I said before, I'm never going to shy away from making a monster villain because we don't have enough of them. That's just the way that I feel. I mean, we have a lot of baby faces, and the baby faces usually are very, very formulaic and very sterile that we see on television. There's no real, Batman fucking believe in saving the fucking city type of hero, but we also don't have that same type of villain. And I do believe that when you have that type of villain on television to tell an episodic story, I think it makes for a better story and a better babyface. So I am always in agreement there. But Alex, thank you. I appreciate the generosity, as does Jason. Thank you for being here. We got, let me see where we are. Basic, screw that. Hail Gunther. David Rice. JD's a Sith Lord. Spencer. JD's a Bret screw Bret guy. Stars. Miles with a 499. Imagine Gunther pulling a CM Punk Jeff Hardy segment from 2009, comes out in Cena gear, does the run to the ring, just adding more to the nuclear heat. Hashtag TNT. Now, Gunther's not about those hijinks. He's more of a serious character. So I don't see him doing that. Misfit Wrestling Podcast with the 10. I disagree with Solo. Gunther passing out. Cena null and voids his whole promo about making Cena tap. Also, Triple H would still get booed regardless who beat Cena. I mentioned on Saturday, Jason, imagine it was LA Knight beating Cena. Can you imagine that?
It doesn't work, though. I think it works better when you have a heel in that role. That way you don't split the reaction.
A lot of people
Plus,
want
LA Knight's a heel.
Yeah.
No, listen, LA Knight's a heel, but that's why I think Gunther was the right opponent. Just the way they did the outcome was not the way I think it should have been done.
Shanamtra with a super chat. This debate on John Cena final match is so damn good. Great points, but still showing respect to each other's opinion. OTS for life. Well, that's what friends do. We were never here to fucking shit on each other's opinion. Leopoldo, Solo. These are great. These are wrestling nerds, not Star Wars geeks. Star Wars nerds read subtext. Wrestling nerds read cliff notes. Laughing emoji, just kidding. Thumbs up to both arguments, guys. Yeah, listen, I agree with what Jason said. The majority of the people aren't looking at this like, what movie can I correlate this to? I love a good story. So does Jason, but I'm more of a story guy, A lot of people were referencing their favorite movie, but we're just basing it off of what Triple H says. They write movies, they tell stories and make movies, so. Alex with a 5. I think the best way for fans to revolt and rebel against WWE and the awful decision from Saturday Night's Main Event is for fans to cheer and make Gunther the biggest babyface. No.
There were people last night who were applauding, though. There were, like, if you looked in the crowd, there were people who were paying him some respect. So that would be fucking funny, actually.
Gucci
comes out like thunderous applause when he comes out.
There was a guy behind commentary who was like, yeah! It's like when he was on the table. Gucci Milk with a $4.99 and a $1.99. Triple H just a D1 hater. Fuck that MF. Bro didn't write good finishes for any of his ops. Other than that, RVD had the best cameo and Leon got shine. Also, does this make Jay the real GOAT? What the fuck we doing? Gucci Milk, thank you, brother.
Well, Jey Uso tapped out the guy who tapped out John Cena, so...
I guess he's the real GOAT.
There you go.
Crazy Men with a $5 super chat. Javon will be the one to beat Gunther. He is the sole NXT person in the tournament, and Cena is high on him. Plus, he was on that Saturday Night's Main Event card. Listen, after that first match, I'd love to see another one with some more meaning behind it. Cool Bro with a $4.99. After making Cena tap, Gunther should be a Night 2 main event, WrestleMania main eventer. Gunther vs. Cody should be the match at Mania for the WWE title. Triple H, do not squander this. Nah. Gunther vs. Cody, not interested in seeing it again. Right now, anyway. You?
I think there's better stories to tell for both of them that don't have them together.
The Typhonian with a $5 super chat. Does Brock Lesnar lose his retirement match, or does he live up to the mantle of being the conqueror? The challenge Gunther couldn't defeat.
I think he loses. I mean, look, he lost to Cody a few years ago at SummerSlam, and what may well have ended up being his retirement match. So I think I'm still not even convinced he's having a retirement match. Again, we're just going off of something that Cena said, and SummerSlam happens to be in Minnesota next year. But if he does, I think he goes out losing and putting somebody else over.
Now remember, Mania's in Saudi next year. Or not next year, but the year after that, 27. So I can't see a WrestleMania in Saudi without Lesnar. McSwag Burger XL with a $1.99. Who cared less about Cena's retirement, Cena or Triple H? Well, I don't know. I think it goes both ways right down the middle. Yurka with a 10. Yurka comes in and orders a drink and leaves no message. $10 super chat. Thank you, Yurka. Tommy McLouth with a $4.99. Cry more, Foley. Good riddance. Love TNT, though. Yeah, Mick Foley's no longer with WWE because he can no longer associate with the company because of who they associate with at the White House. So he's gone. Maybe he joins AEW.
Respect to Mick. I mean, he stands by his convictions.
There you go. I have
Mick's
no
a
problem.
good guy. This season, he's always dressing up as Santa. This is like his favorite time of year right now.
Yeah. Listen, man, you want to follow your heart. He's going to do what he wants to do, make himself happy. That's fine. I have no problem with him standing on his beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's made his money. It's not like I don't think it's going to make a huge impact on his life, but he's standing by what he believes in.
Yeah.
So good to him. Respect.
Justin Toner with a 5. Great debate tonight about Gunther Cena finish. Thanks, guys, for making TNT such a great show. Cheers. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, man.
Toya with a 2. I love wrestling. Well, we all do. That's why we're all here on Tuesday nights. Thank you, Toya. Alex with a 10. If Jericho is making his return at the Rumble, do you see WWE preparing the vignettes to start popping up on Raw starting January 5th, or will they keep it 100% secret? Well, we may see him on January 5th, for all we know.
Yeah, with Jericho, it was always, when he would come back, there was always some sort, remember the Save Us Y2J stuff?
Yep.
There's always something like, and they love doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they loved, like, the White Rabbit stuff when The Fiend came back, like, was huge for them. So I could see them doing something like that, letting it play out over a period of weeks. People like, oh, what did this mean? What did that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I would actually appreciate that. Rumble appearance, I still believe in it, and I think leading up to it would be a good deal. Dark Shadow of the 499. Been waiting for this debate between you two ever since Solo's Undertaker reply to JD on Twitter. You guys brought the heat. Great points. Yes. Nothing gets a good hype for the show when Jason tweets out a funny gif. Chris, Near Fall Podcast with the 499. What's up, JD Solo? Question for you two. Does Gunther win the WWE Championship at some point in 26? Fantastic episode of TNT. As always, cheers.
I kind of feel like he's in a place right now where he doesn't really need it.
No.
So I'm going to say no. But I just don't think he needs a championship right now to be in that special place that his character's in right now.
Yeah, no, I think we're leaving him away from that. I think if we ever see him back, I think we go Cody. I think Cody, McIntyre, Randy, going to be hovering around that main event scene on SmackDown.
Because here's the other thing also about that, where you put a championship on him, right? You really shouldn't be beating him.
No.
I'm done with these like long world title runs. Like, dude, we need the opposite of that now. Like, we've had so many of these. It's so boring.
Yeah.
So he doesn't, I know he's been champion, whatever, 75% of the time on the roster. Who cares? Now they can play off of this, and he doesn't need a title because I don't want him having a stranglehold on it like Roman Reigns did for freaking years at a time.
Foxboom134 of the 499. Enjoyed this stream and debate. I saw both points. Awesome TNT. By the way, Solid Monster. Fiend.
Bastard.
Dark Shadow of the 499. Forgot to mention, absolutely agree with you, Solo. Eve Torres is and always was a gorgeous woman. Pretty sure she's a vampire.
She's a smoke show.
Foxboom with a 499. Speaking of new era, when are we going to get the new era of TNT? Next episode, you should scream, "This is a new era of TNT." I don't know, man. I'll let you know when a new era is when we get some new graphic works by Deviate.
The landscape will change.
Yeah.
Literally in the logo.
We listen. We don't need to change the landscape. We are the landscape. How about that? Alex with a $10 super chat. Buy, sell, rent on the best last man standing match from the following three choices: Triple H vs. Jericho from Fully Loaded 2000, Cena vs. Edge from Backlash 09, or Charlotte Becky Lynch Evolution 2018.
Triple H Jericho. I would put that at number one. I don't remember which Cena Edge match that was. I don't remember too much about that match.
Me
but
neither.
I remember Charlotte and Becky was really good. So I might go with that as a rent and then sell the other one.
Same thing for me. Omar with a 499 as YouTube is glitching here. Hey, Solo, would you rather take the Devil's Kiss or watch Eve booty pop backflip 50 times? I think Jason's lack of reply says Eve Torres.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm pondering this. This is a difficult question now. We'll go with Eve. We'll go with Eve.
Okay. Furious Nation with a 998. What's up, JD Solo? Really good TNT tonight. Gunther is going to be a really big deal in 26, and I'm not mad at all with Cena tapping. He knows WWE doesn't need him and went out the way he wanted. Yes, but Furious, when you say that, he went out the way that he wanted, he's not immune to criticism. So people could obviously say, well, it sucked. It may be what he wanted, but some people say it sucked. Some people liked it. So, but ultimately, he needs to be happy with his decision, look back on it when he's 80 and say, I was very pleased with my retirement. Hopefully he feels that way. Omar with a 999. Why do Mexicans hate the cold weather? Because of the ice. Did you know Paul Walker had dandruff I didn't either until I saw his Head and Shoulders in the glove department.
That's terrible.
Omar, leave the jokes to Sidro. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. RVD had a hell of a pop. Could you guys see one last run with RVD, or will Triple H nix that idea? He's not wrestling in WWE.
I was just happy to see him up and moving around. I mean, he broke both of his heels working a match in MLW earlier this year. He couldn't even walk around.
Demeter Bully and Doggy with a $7.99 times 2. Why couldn't they do that and have Punk, Orton, Lesnar, HBK, Triple H, Big Show come out one by one, kiss and hug Cena like what they do for Ricky Flair and Yoshi Tatsu in 2008? And then he also says, PPPP wee wee, I have like my wee wee with a $7.99.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you. I don't even know what to say to that.
Ted Strand with a $2 super chat. Mick Foley done with WWE. And Chris Nearfall podcast. This is the last one, $4.99. What do you guys think will be the stipulation for Rhodes McIntyre when the match will happen? Do you think there'll be a stipulation?
I think Drew said there would be he would get to pick the stipulation. So, I mean, if we're assuming the stipulation isn't that Cody can't touch him before the match, I mean, like a last man standing would probably make sense. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. What do you think? I mean, I'm thinking maybe like a last man standing type thing. That way they protect whoever loses from taking a pinfall.
I think you may be onto something there. Last man standing match. I feel like we're going into the same situation with Cody and Owens this year. We're going into the same situation this year, going into 26 with Cody and McIntyre. Almost the same kind of deal. We'll say I think a last man standing works. I mean, they've exhausted all their other options. We've seen steel cages and ladders this year. We don't need to see none of that. And Furious Nation with a $4.99. Cena versus Edge versus HBK versus Orton at Backlash 07 was a banger. Thoughts?
I had that in my list. I just did a list of the top 15 matches of John Cena's career, and that is on the list. So they uploaded the full match within the last few months to the WWE Vault. So I rewatched it, and it's a great match. It's one of his top 10 matches of all time.
There you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Furious. And thank you for everybody that showed up tonight to hang out with us. 3,100. You guys killed it. We're looking at almost 1,200 likes. You guys blew the goal away. You guys supported big time with the super chats. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week. We'll keep you guys afloat on what's going on. It's going to be pretty slow going into the holidays, into the new year. So we'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with TNT. But I feel like this was maybe the last show that is really going to be like heavy discussion. Well, so hopefully something breaks in the next couple of days that we'll have some content for you next week. We'll keep you guys afloat on that. But thank you very much. As always, I'm going to leave Jason to sound us off here for what I thought was an excellent 125.
Yeah, excellent episode. I just want to extend a thanks to Kyle Brandt and the whole crew over at Good Morning Football this morning for the hospitality, plugging House of Glory. That was very cool, hanging out with them this morning live on the NFL Network. So my thanks to them, and hopefully I will see some of you later this week. I will be sadly not able to watch SmackDown. I'm devastated by this development. I just don't know what I'm going to do with myself. But that's where I will be. So thank you to them, and thank you to all of you.
Thank you guys very much. We will see you back next week right here for episode 126 of TNT. And like Jason said, if you guys are going to be in Jamaica, Queens for House of Glory, that is happening on Friday. Hardys are in town. And Matt Cardone is on the card as well. So make sure you guys go and check out that Friday, Trilla TV Plus. Thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next week right